Hello, everybody, and welcome to the party. We are live with the first episode of Unnatural Disasters, a new Monster of the Week game with holy cats and all BIMPOC cast. Did you think it was possible? I didn't, but here we are. I'm incredibly excited to be playing with all of these wonderful people. These are some of my favorite rock stars, and I'm so excited that you'll all get to see their various brands of disaster shenanigans. So, before we get into talking about all the fun stuff that you're here to watch, hunting monsters and dealing with all kinds of the fallout involved in that, we got to pay some bills. So, thank you for tuning in. These people make Welcome to the Party possible. So, first of all, we want to give some big ups to Tabletop Loot, our incredible dice sponsors. They provide dice for all of your gaming needs. If you're in need of them now or in the future, go on over to tabletoploot.com, use the code WTTPDICE to get 15% off your next purchase. So Nerdware is also the sole proprietor of Welcome to the Party merch. Maddie does an amazing job with everything. So if you want to get yourself a sweet t-shirt, a hoodie, a cup, whatever it is, go to sonerdware.com, use the code WELCOME at checkout. You get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware, it's what the nerds wear. Welcome to the Party is now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the virtual tabletop that runs straight out of your browser. Wouldn't you know it? We're using it tonight. We'll be using it for dice rolls. We'll be using it for some sound effects. It's got character sheets on it. Everything you need to play with your friends is ready at the click of a mouse. Click to roll character sheets. You can even do voice and video chat if you don't understand how Zoom works or you don't want to use Discord. You can even upload your own maps and tokens. You can get all of that more with a free basic account, roll20.net. That's roll20.net/start/WTTP. And last but not least, Welcome to the Party is sponsored by Devin Rue, the Mistress of Maps, provided huge support to the community ever since we've launched. For some of the best cartographical content on the web, go to rueinc.com. And also, we have some Patreons. We got a Patreon that goes to support the channel, and the people that support it as well. Your generosity allows us to keep working on our mission to platform amazing LGBTQ and BIMPOC players like these, and creators. So check us out, patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg. And finally, if you're looking for a place to hang out and you want to talk about this game, some of the other great games on the channel, or just make some new friends on the internet, especially now, you can join us on Discord. There is a link in the chat. And also, if you go down below, you scroll down until you can't see my face anymore. There's some information about all the other stuff. You can read the fine print. You can click that link and go hang out with the rest of us. With all that being said, let us meet the table. So my name is Simon. I will be running the game, and more importantly, there are some players that help me tell this story together. So I'm going to go clockwise around how people appear in the overlay. So if y'all have Twitch open, you'll know what's happening. Otherwise, you'll just have to figure it out in the moment. So we'll start from my right with Rue. So tell us who you are, what your pronouns are, and then where people can find you on the internet. And finally, tell us a little bit about your character, the 30-second elevator pitch, and we'll move from there.
Cool. So I am Rue or Jadu. Either one works. My pronouns are she, her. You can find me on Twitter at CherryDrop, and then at other things at either CherryDrop or CherryDropRue, depending. And my character is Adia. She is a 21-year-old. People call her a conspiracy theorist. She just says they're theories that people haven't figured out are facts yet. Let's see, what she is a foster kid, or grew up as a foster kid, and so she was often on her own, and she learned to do things on her own, learned to kind of break things apart and then put them back together to figure out how things worked, and she fed her curiosity by running headfirst into danger.
Fantastic. And so we are aware that there's some little kerfuffle going on with the overlay. So I'm going to keep going in the order that people are appearing in my screen, and then we'll fill in the gaps. So that brings us to Viditya. What's going on?
Hi, I'm Viditya. You can find me on Twitter at Viditya Valetti. And then I'm a game designer. You can find all my games at vidityavaletti.itch.io. My pronouns are he, him. and I'll be playing Ushin. Ushin is a I don't really know. He's like 20. He's like a 20-year-old, like finished high school, didn't really know what to do with his life because he's kind of got some weird habits to him, like seeing ghosts, seeing the future. You know, kind of like a lot of unfortunate coincidences constantly occurs around him or to people around him. So that's not great. And one day he just was like, I need to figure out what's going on with this. And a ghost that he was talking to was like, well, there's like an organization that can help you. They should be secret, but I'm sure, you could get in. And so that's kind of what's going on with them right now. Yeah. And Ushin's pronouns are he, they. And I'm excited to see where he goes.
Sweet. So we've reshuffled. So I'm going to do some time warp through space and time and go back around the corner. Alex, hello.
What?
Hi. So I am Alex Guerrero. My pronouns are he, him. I design games at zendaris.itch.io, and I have a dragon romance game on there, and I guess I have a brand because I'm playing a sexy dragon in this game too, because you're able to, and I can't be stopped. So I'm going to be playing Virash with the Monstrous playbook, and that is a really cool playbook because you can sort of like very freely customize what you picked. So I picked the option that makes you good at negotiating with people and the option that lets you negotiate with monsters because that's my jam. So I am looking forward to being a ridiculous dragon who is being made to work for the government and has to chafe at all sorts of weird restrictions from that. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Fantastic. Next, I'm going back down around through space time to JR. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm JR. I'm a writer and also a game designer. You can find my stuff. I've recently worked on a book called The Role Player's Guide to Heists, which is coming out later this year. And I will be playing Special Agent Ben Altamirano. He is using the Expert playbook. He is a special agent who used to work for one of the government agencies with letters instead of an actual name, but got shuffled into the paranormal division to be forgotten about until it turned out that's a thing. So now, with absolutely no field experience, he is getting ready to go out there and save the day.
Fantastic. And last but not least, we'll go around to the bottom right where you wanted to be. Kevin, what's going on? You're muted.
There we go. I can he heard now, I think.
Yes,
Hopefully.
you're good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, sorry, I was just looking up this Role Player's Guide to Heist. I'm Kevin, or Knitnack around. I design games. I recently contributed a heist adventure to the book Unbreakable, which is out on DriveThru RPG right now. Please pick it up. It's Asian Adventures by Asian folks and illustrated by Asian folks. We're really proud of it. That's my plug.
Sweet.
Let's just leave it at that. Yeah. Oh, by character. Sorry, I'm playing the Crooked, and I'm playing the Crooked. Her name is. She is known by Mac, and she. If I had to cast her as an actress, she would be Palm Klemtief, popularly known from the most recent season of Westworld and from Guardians of the Galaxy. Plays Mantis, probably, and she dresses very nice, very. She dresses in just the finest high-end clothes, and she's a fixer. She gets everything the team needs. She knows the right people wherever they go, and she drives the nicest cars.
Perfect. So now that we know the crew, once again, my name is Simon. I am what this game calls the Keeper, or the Keeper of Secrets or Mysteries. I'm the MC. I'm the GM, and I'm on Twitter at Lucha Libris. And we're gonna tell a little story about monster hunting tonight. So before we get into the fun stuff, one last little bit of bookkeeping. I am going to be planning on doing this for every session, but viewers beware, you're in for a scare. Um, this game is Monster of the Week, which means that we go around hunting monsters and dealing with all kinds of different supernatural phenomenon. And that means that there may be some content that not everyone is going to be comfortable with or may find a little bit um, dubious, depending. So I want to give all of you some quick heads ups before we get into the play. We have in the chat a full list of things that you can expect for this series as well as for this episode, because they will change depending on the monster. But overall, this is a game about fighting monsters, so there will be some violence, there will be some blood, there'll probably be a little bit of medical stuff. Definitely some chases, some guilt, maybe a little trauma, depending on what happens. But what we're going for here is sort of like pulp action horror, right? We want this to feel like a Hellboy comic, so it can be a little scary, but there's also going to be plenty of two-fisted action. There's going to be a little bit of like deep emotional stuff, but we're not going to try and linger on it in the same way that like a really grim, dark setting would do. Okay. This particular episode, we're going to be dealing with some issues of the undead. We're going to be dealing with a mysterious illness. It is a magical illness, and I know that current events can make that a little uncomfortable for people. So if you don't think you want to be part of that, no love lost. Come back, join us next week. Otherwise, I encourage you to stay. I will say that it's not spread the way that a current disease is being spread. Um, it will be completely resolved by the end of the mystery. And while there may be some people that don't make it out, it may be more because of the monster that is at the heart of this whole thing rather than systemic failure to keep people safe. In our world, current events don't exist. It's sort of like our world, but a little different, so people can go outside and do other things. But just a heads up for everybody. The last thing that I suppose you all need to know is what this world is like. So, about 5 years ago, there was something called the Phaeton event, and that was a meteor that was on collision course with Earth. It was supposed to collide, and it didn't. It just burned up harmlessly in orbit. So, astronomers are still trying to figure that one out. But as far as everyone else knows, it was supposed to be a big thing. It didn't happen. And behind the scenes, a bunch of supernatural things happened as a result of it. Monsters showed up, mass panic happened, unexplained phenomena all over the world. And in the wake of that, a bunch of people came together, occultists and former soldiers, researchers, scientists, and they formed their own little private company that went out and tried to deal with things and suppress those paranormal threats. And world leaders were like, hey, can you do more of this for us and also keep it quiet so our populations don't have these massive revolutions where they demand to know what's going on or just generally panic? And they said, sure. So, in the aftermath of suppressing that first wave of the supernatural, the PCRI, the Paranormal Crisis Response Initiative, was formed. And it's sort of like XCOM, if you're familiar with that. They're an independent organization that's secretly funded by all global leaders, or almost every global leader, to say, deal with supernatural threats and keep them quiet for us, please. The players are members of the North American branch of this company in a division called Unnatural Disasters. So they're sort of the field agents. Their job is to go out and deal with crises before they become big, widespread problems. You go out, you investigate, you figure it out, and you come back. And in a worst case scenario, if it does go bad, well, unfortunately, it's your job to clean up before we have to send in the specialists. So it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. And very excited to see where everyone goes with this. So now that we've got all of that out of the way, let's do our little. I meant to throw in some fun intro music on top of that. Let's do that right now. And hopefully it comes through in y'all's speakers. If not, that's fine. It depends on how finicky Roll20 is feeling. So yes, this is this is Unnatural Disasters. So I think to start, we get like a very classic X-Files-y, like wide pan shots, different montages of pictures of briefcases and documents and things that say top secret on top of it. We get Polaroids drifting by of everyone's characters, with the actor that they're played by underneath that. It's all very like kind of Chris Carter, like early 2000s. Shout outs to Millennium, shout outs to the X-Files. But yeah, and like pictures of like cryptids and supernatural things. And eventually we close in on the title card. And so we're going to open up play at the home base for everybody. So the North American branch of the PCRI is sort of this big, old like farm complex in New England. So out in my neck of the woods, there's a lot of sort of unused farmland. There are farms that are still active, of course, but there's some like old mill towns and industrial areas that are sort of fallen by the wayside, and nobody would really bat an eye if you decided to buy up a whole bunch of land and sort of try and do your own little thing, have some signage up, and secretly run a independent government-funded monster hunting agency behind it. So I think every time we see this place, like we know what's going on behind closed doors. It's sort of like the opening scene in the Hellboy movie where, it looks like the sanitation department, except it's got the the statues of like Grecian statues and like a brazier of flame in front of it. There's something similar, like some statues and signage that clearly denotes like, oh, if you've read a comic book, you know what this is. But the average Joe off the street is like, huh, what a weird farm.
What a fancy farm.
Right. So we do like a sweeping establishing shot of that. It's sort of like early winter, I want to say, like November. And so there's snow on the ground. Maybe a light snow is falling. And people, it's after Thanksgiving. Everyone's the decorations for Christmas already went up in the CVS like the day after anyway. So I think we get like a little shot as we're panning into one of the main halls, built out of an old barn. That's sort of like there's the barn above ground, and then below in the bunker there's like a long steel and glass hallway, and a receiving area, and there's interns walking by with their ugly holiday sweaters, and mugs of things, and people carrying boxes of lights and things to start doing decorations. And in the lobby, I think we have some of our crew just chatting. Let's do a little slice of life scene between a few people that want to do one.
I'll be in.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be there. I don't know if I'd start the conversation, but I'm definitely listening to somebody talk.
Cool. Does anybody else want to be
We're
in?
at the water cooler or the coffee machine
Yeah.
or whatnot in the break room adjacent to this whole area.
That could be there.
Sweet. So I think Virash is still waking up, still getting started for the day, because she's like kind of a reptile. I think it takes her a while to get going. She is dressed as we all are in our very stylish yet somehow organization mandated suits. So she's got really nice, I think pretty similar to what I'm wearing today. Yeah, like a shirt and a vest and a tie. She's not wearing like a blazer or anything. And of course she has like her dragon wings coming out her back that are they've got like custom tailoring, like slits in the back of the suit so her wings can come out. And they have the like magical symbols and like tattooed chains on them that the organization uses to like restrict her dragon power. Because I think there's like a lot of very complicated rules around adopting monsters into the agency, and so they have to like keep her under wraps and under like multiple layers of magical suppression. But she is all right. We did a Twitter poll and everyone voted that she's going to be a silver dragon with purple eyes, which I'm very excited about.
Ooh.
Maybe I have some fellow Edelgard Restfeld fans out there, because that's a good color combo. So I think I am just chilling out. I have just an entire pot of coffee that I have been drinking from. It's like still probably like just taken off the boil and is boiling hot. And she's just like slurping her forked tongue down into it and drinking it and not making another one for anyone else.
I think like Ushin like has an empty cup and just is nervously kind of like, and then sticks it out to see if you'll pour some in there.
Oh yeah, she'll totally pour you a cup of coffee, because you are, as we worked out in our backstory, you're like a distant, like many hundreds of years later descendant of mine.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'll be like, good morning, Grandma. What's up?
That's so good. I love you call her Grandma. And she's like, I didn't see you there. Oh, it's so good to see you, Ashan. And she pours some coffee into your mug.
I'm like, not like you've already like had your tongue in there.
Yeah, it's
I'm like,
this is fine.
Oh, jeez.
It's still really hot too.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for the follows, Keep of Time and Gosh Awful.
I think my character strolls in here and just wordlessly, she has like a wallet on her hand, and then she just kind of like smacks it onto Ashan. She's like, here, this is yours. And then she like has her hand out and she's like, all right, come on, where's mine?
Oh yeah. And then Ashan like takes a wallet out of a back pocket and hands it over. I'm sorry.
You know, this happens every day, so you should just look for what else of mine is with you.
Is this your watch?
No, that's definitely yours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. Sorry. It just happens. I'm working with Ben. We're trying to figure it out. See if I can keep it under control. But for now,
no, let it keep happening. I'm taking notes. I want to know why it's happening. Don't mess with it.
Don't. Oh, okay, I guess just let the universe decide.
I think Mac just like gives Virash one of those looks like, oh, it's gonna be one of those days, and Mac is there. She's got a mustard colored shirt, but like a crimson colored a suit with one of those cape coats on, and she's like, it's like what, 9 a.m.
Yeah.
She's got like a little cup with like a little plastic spoon. She's eating ice cream. Nobody knows where she got this ice cream. But she's just like, okay, so like, and she just kind of looks like, not like tired, but like, oh, it's like one of these, like at this little exchange between Adia and Ashan.
Mm-hmm. I love that you look so nice. So really.
Yeah, there's like an intern walking by, like does a double take.
Yeah.
Is carrying a stack of binders and things, bumps into somebody, like looking at the cape. oh, sorry. Scoops
like,
papers up and runs away.
The dragon is fine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Everyone's gotten used to the dragon on the payroll.
Yeah.
Mac assumes it's because it's the dragon that gets the attention. Of course, she wouldn't be so vain to think that she gets the attention.
Right.
She's the one. What's on the docket today? I was just gonna sit down next to Mac and kind of gives you a little wave. You got anything cool? Had a good weekend?
Mac kind of squints, like, I like, without actually saying, but like gives this PCI language, like, I never talk about my weekends.
I received this and I go, yeah, mine was pretty uneventful too. Didn't just kind of stayed inside, read some books. That's what I'm up to.
I think at this point,
As far as the agenda, I believe we're waiting on Ben for our.
speaking of which, I think this is about where Ben walks in, holding a knows in the agent's field manual. Agents, well, now that you're all official members of the team, it's time to discuss some very important business. So as you all know, the season is upon us. We have a secret gift giveaway program. I'm going to need you all to put your names in this cup here. I've got to get them in. I think the company rules are nothing above $20. You'll get assigned a name, and you'll have a whole month to figure it out. We'll have our last day before the winter break.
Oh. All right. Okay.
I hold up a clawed finger to get your attention, and I think what color are her claws? I think they're like probably black, but they don't extend super far out. They can like shink out if she needs them to,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Ooh, you got some
match.
snake claws.
Yeah. and she says, what is the value of $20 in gold coins?
About 50.
I'm still
About 50 on.
Uh,
I can help. I can do some exchange for you if you like.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
uh,
Talk to me after.
Actually, it seems like it's about half a gold coin, according to the manual exchange rate here.
Oh, interesting. Well, I will
He must be
annihilate this
speaking
gift
about
exchange.
Aramaic gold coins. Of yours, of course, are. We'll work it out.
You still have gold coins?
Well, one must keep a small piece of one's hoard, even in modern times.
Yep. But I don't remember any gold coins at the Dairy Queen. Where'd you find them?
I have my ways.
Okay.
I feel like I should remind everyone that while we're on agency property, we are not to talk about the Dairy Queen incident. For the
Sorry.
strictures of our non-disclosure agreement.
My bad. Sorry. It won't happen again, I promise.
That's quite all right.
I think at this moment, the door slides open, and a very professional agent, clearly higher up. He is 5'10". He's black, close cropped, like gray, like salt and pepper hair. And he's got some papers in his hands that he's sifting through. He's probably played by Idris Elba, I feel like.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, Agent Thaddeus Stone. He's one of your commanding, higher-ranking officers, and he's looking at his paperwork and looks up and says, "Yes, Ben, have you briefed the new recruits on the? No, I see you're taking secret holiday gifts names."
I have like
Sir,
20. I'm like-
secret non-denominational holiday gift exchange is a very important part. It's important for morale. According to the manual, keeping morale up in times of trouble is the surest way to keep your team functioning at peak capacity.
Yes, well, that certainly can't be denied. I do have to say, it's been a rough one around the office, and keeping everybody in the holiday spirit is certainly good, as long as that's the only spirit that we're keeping up around here. Well, if there's if you're all done with that, let me go over the briefing for you've got an assignment, and I do hope that we will not have a repeat of the Dairy Queen incident.
The what incident?
The what?
I'm glad that we understand each other. Good. He sits down, he taps the papers. He opens up the folder and pulls out a few documents. So he's got like satellite photos. There's some Polaroids, some like documents with a few things redacted on it, clearly typewritten up or mimeographed even. So he hands everything over to you. Says, when's the last time any of you were in Michigan?
I don't think I've. It's been a while. Maybe when I was a kid. I don't know. Might have an aunt there.
Yeah, well, if you think New England winters are bad, it's going to be a cold one out there, so bring your jackets.
I hate the cold.
I'm not
Me
sure
too,
what we can
Graham.
do about that. We've got a few of the eggheads down in the lab trying to work on thermoregulation, but all of the research has come back negative. Especially draconic thermodynamics are sort of a little out of our range. We might have to call up a few people in the maybe the European branch.
Gonna need another pot of coffee.
Or we'll
Someone
just
make one.
and get you a jacket.
I'll bring my heat lamp. Don't worry.
That sounds amazing, actually. Thank you.
Excellent
You're so
initiative.
thoughtful.
Yeah.
Well, here's the situation. There's been an unfortunate string of mysterious illnesses cropping up in a town called Coldridge. It's in the northwest, sort of close to the border with on Duluth. It's a mining town, small. The people there they get by, but most of the town's income comes from an iron mine that's been there for a long time, operated by Superior Mining Company. We're not entirely sure what's going on, but about a month ago, there was a string of small infections. People seem to be having a wasting effect. Their physique was draining, their life force slowly ebbing out of them. In the weeks since then, the cases doubled, and the week after that, they tripled. So something exponential is happening. Doesn't seem to be spread by anything, as far as we can tell. It maybe has something to do with some kind of local tragedy. There was a problem with the mine. Can't get a lot out of the locals there. But we had an informant on the ground who noticed a pattern, and, well, that's what we do, right? We find patterns and we put the pieces together. I'm sending you out there to figure things out. Once you get on the ground, you'll quickly discover that the CDC has sent a specialist of their own to investigate this issue, unaware of our presence. Whatever this thing is, it would be good if we could keep their presence minimal, or at the very least, their awareness of everything quiet.
Is this one of those missions where you would like me to keep the low profile? She says, adjusting the giant anime-ass sword on her back.
Agents, Stone looks at the sword and says, these are hardworking people in a small town that probably haven't seen a monster since Godzilla came to the theaters. I'd be a little cautious.
I am the very soul of caution. Nothing will go wrong.
He gives you, like, the most knowing of smirks. And raises an eyebrow.
When Virash says nothing will go wrong, would this be a good time to do premonition to see what very much will go wrong in this mission?
Yeah. You've got a move for that.
I did.
Perfect.
Roll plus weird. 1 second. I gotta figure out roll 20. All right.
Yeah, you should be able to click on the move, I think.
The move. Oh, maybe. Is that a thing? Ooh. No, it just clicks. I don't know, but I can roll. Click the little button next to weird. Submit. Did that do something? My windows are all messed up. Okay. I rolled a 13. Okay.
Oh, all right.
I really know what the.
So on a 10 plus, you get a detailed vision of something bad that is yet to happen, and you take +1 forward to prevent it coming true, and you mark experience if you stop it. You're trying to just get a vibe of how bad this whole thing is going to go, right?
Mm-hmm. I think like as the information is coming in, I imagine like pieces of it are like making sense to me. Like I'm like, oh, Coldridge, mining. Wait, CDC person? Like it's just like I'm like I feel like I had. This was all in my dream last night.
Right, you're having like really bad deja vu back to the
like, hold up. Wait a second.
Are you saying these things out loud, or are you just like thinking them?
I think like as Thaddeus, like Stone was saying all this stuff, you like ushered in like in the background is just going, and then like takes out a notebook and then just starts going, wait, hold up. And then yeah.
If you're doing that, Adia is like looking over your shoulder, also with the notebook, and like furious. Actually, she has like a smartphone, so she's just like furiously typing, and also like has some recording thing going on at the same time, and is just like, "Can you move?" And she's like pushing your shoulder back so she can see what you're doing.
What I'm doing. Like the mission briefing doesn't matter to you anymore. It's not just what I'm
It's
doing.
all just taking notes.
So
She
it
knows.
sounds like we'll be heading out to Michigan, sir.
That's right. We'll be wheels up in 1 hour. So
Pack up the company field office kit. We'll be ready to roll.
fantastic.
And speaking of being ready to roll, I have a move as well. I have the woman or man with the plan. So at the beginning of each mystery, I roll plus sharp, which I will do.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a 7. So I get to hold 1. I can spend the hold to be where I need to be, prepared and ready.
And you can just hang
Hell
on to
yeah.
that for the rest of the session and spend it whenever the heck you want.
Yeah.
Fantastic move. For the premonition,
Mhm.
you get a vision of things that are to come potentially,
Mhm.
and so you're sort. I think what we get, like if this was a TV show, is like a few shots of cutting back to Ashan as Thaddeus is talking, and like the voice going kind of muffled, like it's very underwater, and
Yeah.
the scenery around you blurs, and then like occasionally we get like a flash of something. So you see a mine, the entrance to an iron mine. It's covered in snow. You see footprints appearing in the snow, but nothing is there to leave them. They come out of the mine. There's a flash. You see someone, a shadowy figure, standing outside of someone's door and knocking. And there's a pause. Flash. The door opens. There's no one there. Flash. You see someone lying in their bed. A gentle snow is falling outside. The door creaks open, and the similar shadowy figure slowly walks into the bedroom, climbs on top of the person sleeping, and just sits there, like hunched,
Ooh.
and just sits. Flash. You see a series of figures like walking down the street, and they all just look emaciated. And one of them, like all this, like you've been seeing these things, and the last one you see is someone who like actually grabs you physically, and it's unclear if it's like in this world or in your mind's eye, but one way or another they grab you and they just say help, and then
Ooh.
you're back in reality.
Yeah, I think like Ashton's just kind of like, it again looks like they're paying attention or they're taking notes and like these things are happening, and then after the help, I think they kind of drop their notebook and they go, oh,
As you drop it, Adia catches it.
that's nice. I'll point to Ben and be like, we got an hour, you say?
Yes.
All right, let me tell you what's up. And then I think I'll like I'll recount a good chunk of what it is, like the briefs of it, to everybody. As I'm like, well, okay, there's a mine, some footprints, and then there's like a figure and a door, and somebody in a bed, and then the figure's on top of the bed, and then a bunch of other figures, like people who they don't look good. They're not doing too hot. And then a help.
Like as you're recounting this, you know, Ben is kind of packing up the field office kit, you know, loading up like wooden stakes, sprigs of holly, vials full of salt and silver dust. As soon as you say emaciated bodies, he kind of like holds up a chainsaw and like a flamethrower, kind of shrugs, puts them back.
I go, yeah. So, if there's anything in those handbooks for that, be good to maybe go over.
Oh well, I'll be sure and check and see if they have anything on emaciated figures. I think we need a little bit more information before we can figure it out, but that's a great place to start.
I'm glad to help.
Just try and hang on to whatever details you can remember. If when we get there, if we can find that bed you were talking about, we might be able to stop something from happening. And stopping something from happening is the first step to starting the solution to this mystery.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I love that. No.
So good.
Oh my goodness.
And he just like smiles very, very innocently, very, very happy.
I think like Ushin kind of gives like a double take on that and just kind of nice. I'm gonna go prep.
Look, page 57.
I was gonna say Adya like crosses off like hasn't used that one before, and like there's just a list of like all the sayings he's used.
I love that. It's just it's the field guide. Like we're slowly crossing off the guide itself. Like
She's gotta keep notes of everything.
yeah.
My blog readers need to know.
They have to know.
But yeah, you two both met on the same blog too, so
That's
you
right.
probably know about this.
She also just has a book of like normal sayings that he just likes to say.
Nice.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds very much like what would happen.
You have a folder of screenshots of stuff that he said, like really to reply back.
And Virash is kind of like a little bit distracted, like wasn't paying a ton of attention to what you were saying, and is just thinking like,
Perfect.
yes, a foe that leaves footprints and cannot be seen. I have not tested my teeth against something like this. And she gives like a big toothy dragony grin with her like, big like maw coming out.
Uh-huh. That's very
Sweet.
suspicious.
So we cut to you all on a plane. So they buy you
Oh.
tickets
Oh,
to
nice.
fly you out.
Wow.
Thanks.
You're flying
Rolling
like
in it.
JetBlue, maybe like a cheap airline. PCR, the North American branch of the PCRI has money, but not that much money. We were joking around in our session 0, like they keep doing like weird cross promotions and things to keep up their public face, but like they just keep investing in the wrong thing. Like,
Oh,
y'all, I
this-
really think Skype's gonna take off. Let's just sink all of our stock options. Have you heard of Vine? We're gonna do Vine.
We're gonna get into Vine.
we all still have company Zunes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
Zune. Everyone gets a standard issue Zune.
And I imagine like this is the like product placement part of the show, where we're getting like our buy, and so it's like, of course it's JetBlue, and we're like eating Doritos or something, sitting
Exactly.
in business class.
I just
We're
yes, I
lucky
would
to get
love
business
one-
class. I was about to ask, are we going to get business class? But no, we're
Oh,
playing
yeah.
economy, bro.
I would love one of your. I would like a nice chill Dr. Pibb, please.
Mountain Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
There's just like a scene of all of us have like cans of Dr. Pibbs just
Yeah, just off-brand
lined up.
sodas.
I could just
Fantastic.
hide in the bathroom, just miserable, just does not want to be on this goddamn plane, and
Oh,
the bathroom is
no.
the safe place on the plane.
Oh no.
No, I can't fly economy. No.
Not in a pilot seat, then I don't want to fly at all.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't trust anyone but yourself behind the wheel.
The bathroom is better than economy. Let's just not.
There's like a string of people waiting behind, like
Yeah,
just angrily tapping their feet, like looking at their watches.
she's in there on her phone. She's probably in there on her phone, speaking in like Quebecois to somebody on the ground, like gonna tap into her crew move and like get some resources ready for when they land.
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
absolutely.
nice.
Yeah, do that thing. Is there a role with that? I don't think there is.
Nope. I just have minions that do
just have a
whatever I want.
Oh, that's
Oh
so
my god.
cool. So what do you
It's-
want to try and arrange for people when you get on the ground?
At least transportation, because that's
Okay.
like the general thing. And then I'm not sure, because I'm not sure like what we like the intention of the game is. Like I don't want them to like be investigating, because that's our thing. Like maybe just get some gear and some transportation for now. And
Yeah,
like, just
okay.
to be ready to do my bidding.
Or Hertz contract. Or contact.
No, without me, you'll have to go to Hertz. But
Oh,
no,
that's true.
I hook up a ride.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
a
we
good
get
point.
Enterprise thanks to you.
Yeah, it's okay. So we get on the ground, and we cut to a scene of you all in the car, as you're driving along. So you landed at the airport. It's a while from the nearest airport out there. So like it's way, if you go to a map, it's like way up in the northwest. There's a region called Iron River, which this is sort of like a little bit north of. It's just like between the Iron River region, northwest Michigan, and south of Lake Superior. So there's just a lot of wilds, like woods out there. There's a lot of mountains, and there's like a ton of snow out on the ground. There's ice. I think you got a decent car. It's probably a truck, because we're out here and it's bad
Mhm.
weather. Maybe a Suburban, like an SUV or something. But it's nice, right? It's like in gunmetal. It's got
Ooh.
heated seats. Your crew did some Mac's crew did a nice job.
I know to
Very
keep
excited about
the
the heated
snacks
seats.
stocked up.
Yeah, and there's a Bluetooth player. So you're driving out, and like sort of as you're driving, you will just sort of take in the like how far away you are from anything. This town is sort of like there's a gas station, and then highway, gas station, highway, and finally you pull into Cold Ridge. So Cold Ridge is it's a mining town. It's clearly been that way for a while, at least since like the late 1800s. So there's residential zones sort of spread out. There's a downtown area. There's a big mountain that you've sort of seen this whole time that's kind of coming out over the tree line, and then forest around it covered in snow. The streets are all paved at the very least.
Mhm.
But that mountain, there's a road that goes up and then onto sort of an excavation ridge that you can see where like all the cut has been made for this mine. And it sort of looks like they've exhausted part of it, and there's a second pathway that's a second sort of dome, where they're digging into like a new tunnel. You drive along. You can probably set up lodging at there's like a Motel 6 at the edge of town before you, and then you can drive into downtown. And I assume you all head to like straight to downtown.
Yeah.
Like hub. All right, so you hop out. You park your car easy enough. There's a little street parking, and people here are walking around. There's some people in heavy winter coats. I'd say it's probably mid-afternoon by the time you arrive, because it's 9 o'clock in the morning. You flew out there. It's like 3.
Mhm.
And there's a diner not far from where you are, actually, that's sort of blinking its warm neon lights. It's a place
Ooh.
called Paul and Babes. It's got a big old lumberjack out front, smiling, carved out of wood with an axe over his back, and he's patting a big blue ox next to him. And the ox has a giant tray of pancakes on its back as part of the
Oh.
carving, and so he's giving a big thumbs up.
Great. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Oh.
What do you do?
Asha's gonna
Stop
try
the
like
slow jazz because we're no longer in the office.
yeah.
Just realize it's still been going on this whole time.
It's called Airport Lounge, which I
It
also
is.
really like. So it
Nice.
worked. It worked the whole time.
It just follows us around, that music.
Ashan's the sucker for diners. Is gonna try and rush right into it.
Naturally.
Yeah.
The first order of business.
First
Yeah,
order.
Mac, Mac is of the same mind, and will also accompany Ashan to Paul and Babes.
Yeah.
But, you can't solve a mystery on an empty stomach. That's what I
No,
always
it's
say.
not possible.
That's what, in fact, the manual says. You,
The
Article
manual even
23,
says
subsection 54 says,
if you can
remember,
find.
agents.
What does it say?
Remember, agents. You can't fight monsters on an empty stomach.
Does the manual say support local businesses, go to diners?
absolutely.
It does. It absolutely does. As we wander into Paul and Babes, Ben's gonna grab one of those like local maps, and like local
Mhm.
attract, that like stand of like come see the caves that are nearby and all of those. He'll grab one of each of them and kind of spread them out across the table while we order some pancakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a milkshake. It's freezing outside, but a good milkshake.
But you still get the milkshake. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very reasonably priced. Yeah. Compared to like other places where you have to pay a whole $5 for a milkshake.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna order their like challenge yourself 16 egg omelet.
Oh yeah, it's the miner's breakfast, which
Yes.
is like a lot, like a super large stack of pancakes, 3 eggs, pound of bacon, half pound of potatoes,
Nice. Yeah.
1 piece of toast.
I'll have
Always
the
gotta eat toast.
I'll have the junior happy faced special with egg whites, please.
Oh
Yeah,
my
your
gosh.
waitress, she's in her like early 20s. She's got her hair tied up in like a tight blonde bob. She's smacking some gum. And she's the diner outfit is like the classic like pink gingham apron.
Mhm.
She's got a white button shirt, flannel lined jeans, and like sneakers. And she's taking down notes of everything. Oh, great, fantastic. Y'all new in town? Didn't really see, sort of look a little professional.
Yeah, we're new in town. I kind of like look at Ben to like, and like my
Yeah,
eyes
we're-
are like, what's protocol?
We're here to do some surveying for one of the local mining interests.
And she nods and goes, well, don't let Niels here say that. He'll flip his lid.
Oh. Thanks for the heads up. I'll be sure not to mention that to Niels.
He says, absolutely. You need anything, you can always come to me. My name's Ava. I'll be your server today and any other day that you come in here. I work every day.
Oh my gosh.
Sort of hard to find good help right now.
I like look around. Are there any other like
She is
waiting
like
staff?
the one waitress.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like
Oh.
3 p.m. Like it's not even.
Are,
Right.
do most folks leave for the holidays or?
Well, so there's some people around here. A few of the other miners have a house here, or they stay nearby, but they go back home. It's been sort of quiet right now. I don't know if you heard. There's sort of a thing. It's not for polite company. I mean, unless you're not polite company, in which case I'm happy to talk. But
I think Ben kind of leans over conspiratorially, like pushing that mug, that like ceramic mug of diner coffee that is in every single diner ever,
Yeah.
with just enough cream that it's opaque. We're anything but polite, but we do still say please and thank you.
Oh my god.
well, aren't you just the idiosyncratic charmer? Junior happy face. I'll be right back. And she scoots off and she like gives you like a little wink as she goes into the back and bustles around. You can hear her like jittering things. And you can
Yeah.
see there's like a short order cook that's like quietly working in the back.
Mhm.
but clearly just being paid by someone who's like not being paid enough money to have like a face roll for this episode.
The same like person, like a grease-stained white shirt, white apron,
Right.
Yeah.
like the
Just-
same like muscle hair everywhere, flipping
Rolled out of central casting 5 minutes ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chat suggests that the waitress is on roller skates, which sounds amazing.
Oh my god. Roller skates in a like tiny winter diner.
Indoor winter time.
I have half a
She's
mind
just
to
been
do
doing it
but-
since the craze started. She's a professional by now.
Yeah. Just imagine that she's in roller skates, even if she's not. It'll enhance your play experience. Yeah, so she gives you like a moment to chat if you want to have your private moment to chat. Otherwise, she comes right back.
I'm gonna kind of like look up from my menu and just be like, so, all right, what's the plan of attack here? How do we engage locals? Like, what? We got to get information, but like,
Well, first things first, we establish a shared cover identity. Now, technically, we did that during the mission briefing, but I believe you were having an episode. We're here representing one of the local mining interests. We're from Duluth. We
Yeah,
represent Duluth National Mining.
Duluth National Mining. All right, okay. That's easy. That's simple. That's a thing people get a job to do.
This is a mining town. We're here to check out some of the, I guess, ore.
I guess that's what's in mines. Yeah.
We're
Okay.
here in order to appraise the local facilities in order for a potential business acquisition of the what the hell is this place called? The Superior Mining Company.
Okay.
Considering that we are capitalists and we are going to take advantage of their poor situation, such will not be questioned by locals.
I'm like kind of get like trying to take notes of this down, and then I just kind of look up and I go, "Wait, are we the bad guys here?"
I want them to think we're the
No.
bad guys.
No, Ashan. Capitalists are the bad guys.
Okay. All
We're
right.
pretending to be the bad guys.
Yeah. We're acting.
We're acting. Okay. All right, yeah, I could do that. And then like they change their stance a little bit. They're like they try and look like a bad guy. They're like,
That's so good.
Mac will like reach over the table and start like fussing at you, trying to help the appearance.
yeah, exactly. I'm like wearing a parka and I like try and like pull up the coat. Like I'm like, how do I make this
No,
look?
no, honey, no. It's okay.
No, okay. Okay. All right.
So I have a bit of a
Just, like,
question.
scowl a bit more.
I have a bit of a question for Simon as a player. How weird is it that I'm a monster in this small
Yeah.
town?
So here's the thing, like, how monstrous is Viraj, right? You have got these big wings that you can sort of collapse. Maybe you wear a heavy
Right.
coat to conceal, but you still have like a dragon's face or like scales.
I think that I do have those things. Because if I'm gonna have a 3 damage armor piercing bite, I don't think I can do that with like a human mouth.
You haven't been bit by a 2-year-old.
So, to be fair, okay,
You're
yeah,
not wrong.
that's something.
Yeah, so you look like a dragonborn, sort of.
Yeah,
okay.
that's sort of the vibe I was thinking. Do
I
I,
think-
have like some sort of minor like little magical charm they gave me that just makes people be like, oh, that's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
regular, or like something like that?
I
Good.
think there probably is like it's not quite a nemonizer from Men in Black, but like you have a necklace or something that puts a glamour over you,
Mhm.
where it's more like anyone that looks at you is like, that's a normal person whose
Yep.
face I cannot distinguish. They just look like random NPC number 26.
Okay,
Yeah.
sweet.
That
They
is the
look like
most-
somebody who would work at Dairy Queen.
Yeah, exactly. What's the thing in the a scanner? Is it the scanner suit, right?
Yeah.
The shimmer
Yeah.
suit thing. I think it's one
Oh.
of those. It's sort of like it breaks up your face. So like, oh yeah, they kind of looks like somebody I know, or maybe I don't, but they look familiar.
Cool. Thanks for clearing that up. I was
Yeah.
like, that's gonna really change how I roleplay this.
And it will, depending on the situation, like you either bring that with you or you don't.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be a consequence of something on a move later on.
Yeah, that
We'll
sounds
find out.
ideal.
Oh yeah.
So she comes back out. She's jammed the jukebox to life.
Ooh.
So I
Oh,
realized it was a
nice.
little quiet in here. And she comes back with like way too many plates under both arms, like more
Oh.
plates than a human should be able to carry.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing supernatural. It's just like she's really good at this.
Yeah.
She's the only person here.
I love that you have to
Just like-
specify.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, she's got 6 arms. Yeah, so she drops all the plates down. So happy face, boom, boom, boom. The miner's breakfast. She like pulls a giant plate over, drops it down.
Nice.
The milkshake, right? She's got everything, everyone's orders. It's like, and was there anything else? Did everybody need more coffee?
Yes, Ava, dear. We heard that there was someone from the CDC in town.
Oh, yeah. Funny lady. Sort of kind of a little cold, which is funny out here, just a little Michigan humor. But she looks at you like,
Yeah.
she gives you like way too big of a smile, like tries to play it off like, ha, you're funny and I'm funny. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Did you catch her name or where she might be staying?
Yeah, Dr. Camilla Cardoso. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, she has a van or something. It's like one of those big trailers. It looks like a Winnebago, but like a fancy one, like a big government Winnebago. I don't know what's in there, but she seems to sleep there, and sometimes she comes down here and has a meal. Sometimes she has me pack a few things up, a bunch of extra sandwiches, and take them back. I give her a thermos of coffee sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah, she's been here for a while, a couple weeks now. Hasn't really made any friends, which is funny. It's not hard around here usually. But yeah, I can point you. She sees that you've got a couple of papers and like the tourist trap kind of maps. Not that there are any tourist traps around here. Like
Mm-hmm.
a mile down the road, there was like, see the world's largest ball of twine,
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
which you definitely took a pit stop at.
Yes.
That's a cocoon for something.
You're like taking notes furiously, reporting back to the office.
God.
And,
Oh,
and
good.
Ben has like a roadside attractions of the Americas like folder that he's crossing things off in finally.
That's so good. Yeah, she grabs a town map. She says, yeah, so we're here, and she circles the diner.
Of course.
So this should be your home base, for however long you're going to be staying here.
Oh, with pancakes this good, how could it not be?
Oh, you really are a
Just like
goodness. What was your name
sprays-
again?
sprays on some more whipped cream. Call me Ben.
Ben. Yeah, Ava. I already told you that. It's nice to talk with people that aren't sort of around here and sort of glum. It's a welcome change of pace. Yeah, we're here, and then she circles the van. She's like, okay, so she's up here, sort of a little bit east of the mine, and then of course that's over here, and she draws a couple of lines over there. Yeah, that's aside from that, there's not really a whole much else to do down here. If you really want, you can go catch a movie at the cinema. We've got a fun little arts and crafts scene. There's a
Oh.
couple of potters out here that have their little displays every now and again on Saturdays. Oh, and do stay clear of, and she draws another thing. Off in the, from the west of the mine, in the forest, she puts an X. It says, you probably shouldn't go that way. I mean, the road out of town sometimes goes out that way. There's a couple of other towns about 20-mile drive north from here. But just don't stay there for too long.
Mhm.
Of course.
Yeah.
We'll avoid that at all measures.
Oh yeah. There's nothing Duluth Mining needs with that place.
Idea's
Well,
just circled it a bunch of times. I'm circling a lot so that I know not to go here.
she looks at you funny, and she looks at Sean and says,
We're
"Yeah,
assholes."
I really hope nobody has anything. No other miners have things to do with that."
Why? What have
I'm
you
sorry.
heard?
Oh,
No.
it's
Sometimes sharing something that burdens you lessens it.
Why don't you roll plus charm?
Yeah.
Like you're manipulating her a little bit.
That sounds about right.
Something that's bothering. That's in the when you need to get someone to talk manual. so you need answers.
Yeah, on a 7 they'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show that you mean it. If you ask too much, they'll tell you what, if anything, it would take for them to do it.
Okay.
So you didn't ask too much. She said she just looks at you all and she says, "Okay, you didn't hear this from me, okay?"
Which reminds me, let me put in a to-go order. I think I'll buy lunch for the team on the diner, of course,
Oh,
or from the diner, of course.
You'll pay for
well,
our lunch.
I mean,
I'm sure.
I'd like to make it on the house. You seem like
no.
great people, but yeah, okay, yeah. Just scribble it down. She hands you a little check and like just write down what you want, and I'll pack it up for you.
It's all
she-
some variation of like BLTs, with dietary restrictions and stuff. Of course.
Back here. Let me
take
write
it
that
in.
down while you continue. And Ben and Mac will take that notepad and make a long list and take advantage.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Manage the budget here.
She's
I
just like
think,
raising her eyebrow as you scribble down.
I think Adia
Whole
holds
pecan
up.
pie and
Yes.
Adia holds up a sign of like what she wants, and she's just like pointing.
oh yeah. We're in the background, like out of
Yeah,
focus. while
that's
Ben
in the
is actually doing
background.
the work.
While yeah.
I'm like checking their Yelp.
is
I'm like, they have
pie?
this special.
Yeah. So Ava like puts everything down. The diner has gone. The cook is gone in the back. So she just looks around. This is an empty diner. So she squats down. So she's got her elbows like this and her head resting on the table. And she goes, "Okay, so you're here from Duluth National. You know that mining can be dangerous sometimes.
Absolutely.
All the people out here when they go out there, they know the kind of risks that are associated. And it's good money. I mean, we've been able to put food on everybody's plates for years. It's never really put us on the map, but Cold Ridge has always been. It's never really needed anything. Well, yeah, the reason I told you to stay away from Niels is he's sort of going through a tough time. There was a dig that went bad a couple weeks ago. I don't really understand what happened, but I do know that while the cave collapsed, that they had an expedition in. There were some explosions. A lot of people didn't come out. It was pretty bad. And in fact, it was bad enough that, well, you must have seen it when you came in. The town's big, and the town's not that big, and our graveyard is kind of getting a little tight. So there's a whole bunch of rules and regulations, and this might be a little too much for lunch conversation, but it wasn't easy to figure out who was who, if you know what I'm saying.
Ah.
So, and Niels, he's the foreman for Superior out here. He said to dig a pit. And she gestures at the X, and to just sort of get everyone in there, and they'd sort of stage it there until we could figure out what to do with everyone. They say it's safe and secure. I don't know if that's why Dr. Cardoso is out here or not. But There's a lot of people hurting out here.
Aw. I think Virash is really touched by this, and sort of leans over to like put a hand on her shoulder, and says, "It's clear that you care a lot about the people here, and I just want you to know we're going to do everything in our power to get this town back to normal again."
Oh, I wasn't aware that Duluth were philanthropists, but I hope maybe if you guys end up buying out the contract here and taking over the prospect, maybe you'll do a better job than Niels is.
We can only hope to keep to the principle of brotherly love.
Right.
And then he kind of like turns and taps the part on the agency, the agent's field manual that says, "Remember local customs." Just kind of over to Sean.
Modeling behavior, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I have a question about the figures I saw in my vision.
Yeah.
Were they kind of hard to distinguish between each other?
No, and that surprises you
Yeah.
now that you're thinking about it. The figure that you saw looked like a fully intact person,
Mhm.
maybe a little rough around the edges. You couldn't make out features,
Yeah.
but clothing looked a little tattered and worn. Physically, looked sort of like pallid, and in terms of like not missing any body parts.
Okay. Huh.
In fact, when you look at them, when you think back to the vision of them, like walking into the bedroom, the sort of in the shadows, you see sort of like an emaciated figure, with like dark like soot, sort of spread across the skin that's exposed, but nothing missing.
Okay. So that definitely stands out a little bit.
Yes.
I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
No. You go. I'm gonna say I'm gonna wait to talk about anything until Ava leaves us. So if you have something to say, Rue.
Yeah, so Adia has a move, Suspicious Mind. I don't think she necessarily thinks Ava is lying to her, but just in case, she's always a little bit suspicious. Is she lying to us at all?
She is not. She's been extremely forthright with you. Once you sort of like warmed up to her, I mean, I would say the impression you get out of Ava is like she likes to talk. She doesn't get to talk to people a lot. So when she does, it's like, I need to tell you everything. It all has to come up.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I think she just has like some notes and it's just like, Ava likes to talk, not lying.
Perfect. Yeah, so she looks around. I've gone on for a while. Let me get you, and she takes the paper from Mac. Let me get you your takeout. And she ducks out.
As soon as she kind of leaves, I'm gonna like turn over and be like, "We gotta go to see those bodies." Is that weird? Is that not what we should do?
Maybe that's something you should say.
We work for the
in
Paranormal
public,
Crisis Response Initiative.
No, we work
Everything
for
we
the
do is
Duluth
secret.
National Mining Company. Looking around at all the other people in the back.
It's all,
You just
all
say it a
the
little
other,
loud.
all the other people.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should see what Dr. Cardoza has information. Maybe gets into her van while she's away. I can have her,
Yes.
someone, make sure that she is unavailable at her residence and workplace by the time we get there.
It sounds like you'll head up investigating Cardosa's government Winnebago. Ashan, it sounds like you're interested in checking out the pit for the bodies. That's X marks the spot. And I think some of us should go and talk to Niels as well.
I will stay with Ashan in case anything dangerous happens to him. If a ghost comes out, I will bite it to death. Again, I will kill it again with my teeth.
Oh, thanks, Corinne.
Remember, we aren't swords out yet, so to speak. So leave them in the field office.
Okay.
All right, fine. But I'm here to protect you, Ashan. You're making a reckless and dangerous move, and I approve of that.
Let's go talk to some bodies.
What were you going to say, Adia?
Oh, what do you think I should do? Where do you need me?
How would you feel about coming to talk to Niels with me? Or would you like to get your hands on the inside of that government Winnebago?
Can I do my trust your guts roll?
Yeah, totally. Trust those
Bad.
guts.
I hope you fail, and then by failing, you have to come with me.
I just want any excuse to keep saying big government Winnebago because it's my favorite.
Really good.
Big government, little Winnebago.
Little Winnebago.
That's a
Winnebago.
cake song.
Okay.
I want a girl with a big government.
And a small Winnebago.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. And then I roll 2d6s?
Yep, 2d6 plus your weird.
Okay.
So for the benefit of the viewers at home, if you've played Monster of the Week, everyone gets a basic move called Use Magic, where you can just like cast spells and use charms and talismans and things. We're using some optional rules from a supplement, Tome of Mysteries, which means you can replace that with another move that might be more thematic to your character. So in Adia's case, she has Trust Your Gut, which is when you consult your instincts about what to do next. You roll plus weird, as opposed to like weird science or being an empath. So what'd you get?
I got a
A
9.
Sweet. So on a 7 and 9, I will give you the general direction to go and take +1 forward as you explore that. So you were thinking about going to talk to Niels, right?
That's what I was told I should do.
Yeah, you've got a feeling that that's probably a good lead. Definitely checking out the mine itself if there was some kind of accident. There's a whole string of different paranormal phenomena that could be caused by such a thing.
Mhm.
Definitely worth taking a look at it at some point.
Okay. Alright, I'll go talk to Niels.
Okay. So we've got 3 teams, it sounds like. Anyone feel strongly about getting their scene out first? Or I will just throw it out there. All right, so we've got a team going to look at the bodies, a team going to look at, check out Niels, and one going to look at the CDC van.
Yep.
Right. Okay, let's do Niels first.
Sounds good.
So that group heads up to the mine. So you push out of the the diner and into the cold. And you trudge up to the
Oh, that's good.
mine. So there's sort of like a winding road that goes up that way. And as you approach, the buildings sort of thin out. There's clearly like construction equipment and things, a couple of cars along the road. And you get up to close to where the mine is, and there's some caution tape, there's cones. There's a sign that says all a hard hat required while in blasting area. And there's a few people that are walking along with shovels or picks. Everyone seems to like be sort of milling about, like they're sort of working, but also like really phoning it in. And a few people turn and see, like, point at you as you approach. They wait for you to get closer. When you get closer, they like gesture. One of them shoves another person. That miner runs off and comes back with another guy. He's a bigger guy. He's in a heavy winter coat with a safety vest over it. He's got a hard hat, a yellow hard hat. and he's a big guy. He's got a bit of a gut, but he's muscular. He's got a big, thick, blonde and gray beard, bushy eyebrows, ruddy, really red cheeks. He looks exhausted. He's got really, really dark circles under his eyes. His cheekbones look a little sunken. And he has a cigarette in one hand that he is sort of like aggressively smoking as you come up to him. And he says, "Was there a problem here?"
Real quick, GM, would we, as members of this agency, have like, I don't know, some kind of like fake FBI badges or something
totally.
like that? Okay.
Yeah, you have credentials.
Cool.
I was also gonna say that while we were at the diner, IBM put together like some kind of Duluth mining like a name tag or something, but it's probably somewhat off because she's like trolled the forums and found one that's like some other Duluth mining company. So there's something like off about it, but she's like scrawled her name in or like some kind of fake name or something.
Yeah, excellent. So you've like made a few, even if you didn't have them before, you've like whipped together some credentials. So you flash them at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he snatches that out of your hand. He looks at it. "I don't want no FBI around here." And he puts them back in your hands.
Oh no, I'm from the Duluth Mining Company, like it says. And she like taps on it.
And he looks at it. Must have slipped my mind. Duluth Mining.
Mm-hmm.
You here to muscle in on our property?
Oh, we're just surveying. But you seemed quick to think that I was from FBI. Have they come around, or have you been talking to more official people recently that aren't mining people?
He takes a long drag on the cigarette. "Yeah, I got a doctor blowing smoke up my ass from CDC coming out talking about a disease and sickness. I don't know anything about that. All I know is I lost a lot of good people on a job that was supposed to be routine. We're trying to all get over it, but the more we get outsiders coming in here and picking at that scab, the harder that is now, isn't it?"
Yeah. Honestly, there's nothing more annoying than people who don't know the mining business coming in, moving in on our space, and trying to investigate our people and our situations. I hear ya.
Huh. Duluth Mining.
Mm-hmm.
You, help me understand something here. He takes a step close, like maybe a little too close. Help me understand. Are you here to give me advice? Are you here to try and take Superior Prospect 313 away from me? Are you here to try and make a new dig on top of what is already an established iron mine? Because if you look at the books, if you go to the state, you'll see there's plenty of paperwork that's already filed away for this thing.
You know, I'm just here investigating, and I heard about this situation going on, and we've got our mining company. We don't want that kind of thing happening to us, so I'm just here to find out some information.
Yeah, what my partner is saying is maybe you aren't the only ones who've had a hard time lately.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you aren't the only ones who've lost a lot of people when you shouldn't have. Maybe we can compare notes.
Why don't you try and manipulate him? I feel like.
And can I help out?
Yes. So if Adia wants to make the roll, then you're rolling plus charm, and then Ben would be rolling plus cool to help out.
Okay. Plus charm. Oops, that's not it.
I get a 7, so you get +1 for me.
Alrighty. Do I just add that to my roll?
Yes.
Okay. That's great, because I had nothing in charm. I don't know what that means.
All right, so that's a 8.
Yes.
Yep. So Ben's gonna help, but expose himself to trouble or danger. And Adia is going to do it, but only if you do something for him right now to show that you mean it. And if you ask too much, he'll tell you what, if anything, it would take for him to do it. So he looks at the two of you for a while, and then finally says, let's take a walk. And he takes you along the ridge. And it's, there's
That was very well timed.
there's like a flock of crows kind of coming along, right?
Idea's just waving to them.
Yeah, so you're looking over like the forest, and you're up on like a high cliff. Below you, you can see it was Virash and Ashan going to the pit, right?
Mhm.
So above, you can see your teammates approaching this pit. So what you're looking at, what both of you are looking at, it's this mass, clearly like a hastily dug mass grave, just excavated with backhoes. There are blue tarps covering everything that are sort of flapping in the wind. They're held down by rail spikes. So they're mostly covered, but sometimes you see like a frozen foot or something like that sticking out. It's not a good scene. It's definitely not as bad up on the ridge, but you can clearly see like there's a lot of people down there. And on the ground, there's like a little bit of a smell, but it's mostly masked because it's like everything's frozen down here. So he looks at that and he says, "This is what happened. A lot of people lost their lives just making a dig. Somebody made a mistake. Something happened. I don't know what. Maybe that's what I get for putting a couple of rookies in charge. But I got to get this thing done. We got a big prospect. Iron's sort of drying up. We're trying a new route. Found a little something, maybe more profitable. Decided to try and expand the pathway. Didn't go so well. Now, we all got to live with this. So let me ask you something, representatives from Duluth National Mining Company. If it comes down to it, and you have to decide to keep your livelihood and keep this place running as it's done for over 100 years, the lifeblood for these people, are you willing to put everything on the line and make a decision that means when you screw up, a lot of people don't come home? And he crushes the cigarette underneath his shoe.
I think Idea just like walks up to the edge, but like isn't looking at him. It's just like, that's a real tough decision to make. Can't imagine that whoever had to make it sits with it very well and doesn't think about it all the time about what if they decided something else? What if they chose something different? Who was the person who had to make this decision?
Well, it's me. I'm the foreman. When I say goes.
Do you regret it? Or I guess the better question is, would you have chosen something different with the information that you had?
Hindsight's 20/20 now, isn't it? He coughs for a second and turns away and goes to light another cigarette. The camera pans down from there, down to the pit. So you can see your two compatriots are having some kind of like conversation, argument, not clear. But you're down on the ground, and you're standing in front of this grave. The tarps are sort of blowing gently in the winter wind. What do you do?
So, first thing that Ushin wants to look out for is if I can see any spirits. The site.
Good plan.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. Does that require you to make a roll at all?
It doesn't. It says you
You
can
see
see
the
invisible
invisible.
things, especially spirits and magical influences.
Yo,
Uh,
nice.
And they give you more opportunities to spot clues when you investigate a mystery. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think as you're like you approach, you don't see anything immediately, and then the closer you get, it's sort of like like an old N64 game where like the
Render
draw
distance.
distance is
Yeah.
really terrible. You finally get like 20 feet away from this grave, and all of a sudden you start to see like
Yeah.
presences. They're very faint. These look sort of like it's like someone tried to draw a person in the condensation on the inside of a shower,
Cool.
which
And
is
then
not usually how ghosts
okay.
look. These
Yeah,
these are
I
a
was
little
gonna
more tenuous. Yeah.
perfect. I think I'll like kind of like put my arm out to stop the Varash for a second and be like,
Mm.
I'm gonna go talk to them. Uh, like doesn't even explain what them means. I don't necessarily know
Sure.
if Varash knows
I
that
think I have an amount of trusting you around spooky stuff like this. It's
Okay,
kind of your forte. So I say, I'll keep watch.
and then I'll approach and then just kind of be like, hello? Is anyone there?
The presences don't seem to notice you immediately, but you get close, and then a few of them like turn, and they're like like the top half of someone usually, or like sort of like a floating, like a face, sort of just like phasing in and out. And a few of them turn to look at you, and they sort of cluster. There's like a little group of a few of them
Mm-hmm.
that just sort of drift a little bit towards you.
Ashton's like very comfortable around spirits and stuff like that. So does this, I guess just for body language reasons, does this feel more like I've gotten their attention and not like we're gonna get you kind of deal?
Yeah, it's more of an attention thing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Just checking. I'll be like, hi. Well, how's everyone doing? I mean, sorry. I understand.
It's cold.
Would you be able to tell me, answer some questions?
Maybe.
We're here to help. We've come. And then I kind of like take a look around just to see if there's anybody else around me. We're here to, we know, and then I like lean in and like whisper, we know something's wrong. And I'd like to talk to you about that. Can you tell me how you died?
Cave. The cave, the cave, the cave, the cave. It fell. There was fire. Explosion. The dig went bad.
Did anything, when you say the dig went bad, did you feel like it was an accident? Or does anyone here know if maybe there was foul play?
No foul play. No foul play. There was a new deposit. New ore. New ore. New ore. New ore. The iron is drying up. Drying up. We were looking for more. We found one. It was different. We tried to blast it to get loose. It was too strong. The cave fell.
It was, do you know what it looked like? What, it was stronger? Did it look different?
Didn't respond to the picks. The picks broke most of our tools. Niels said, blow it. We tried. Nick said, no, but we did it anyway.
Is Nick here with you?
They look terrified at you. Like this is the first time that their faces get more visible. No.
Did he survive?
No.
Thank you. I'm sorry for your loss. Well, more so. And then I'll like turn back around to Varash and be like, "Hey, Varash, do you know anything about strange metals?"
Good question. I probably have
I feel like a dragon would know
a bit of
something
knowledge
about
of that.
it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I say, well, I'd probably have to see it, or smell it, or taste it would be the best.
Uh-huh. I'm just like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I'll like turn back to the ghost and be like, do you remember anything about the vein? Like, are we gonna have any trouble getting in? Is it caved in? Is it still
caved in?
Mm-hmm.
They closed the mine after we passed.
Okay. Well, I promise you I'll try and we'll try our best to figure out maybe what was wrong with that. I want you to know. And then like Ushin kind of like he has his the sword, like the broken sword, and kind of like sticks it in the ground in front of them.
Yo.
And is like kind of like probably has like some like they have like a ritual that they do with spirits when it's like I'm sorry that you had to go so soon, but I promise we will try our best, even though I'm sure you're confused as to why as to some parts of the story. From what I'm hearing, you did die, and I will, if you need a minute to maybe tell me anything, I'll still try my best to pass it on to those that were dear to you.
And I think I interrupt you and I like put a hand on your shoulder as you're going down. And I say, Ashan, I tell you, with spirits you must be decisive. They get confused. You have to be very clear. And I sort of turn. I can't see the spirits, but I'm addressing. I say, you will have vengeance.
I like get up and like pull the sword shard out, and like I think maybe there's like the shot is like us. We kind of are standing strong with weird swords in our hands.
Oh yeah, and it looks sick as hell.
Yeah.
And as you do it, the spirits are starting to fade a little bit, and they force out one last thing. They say, when you go in, be careful, be careful, be careful, careful. Nick's not alone anymore. And then they wisp. And I think with that, we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break.
Let's take that break.
And we'll reopen on investigating the Winnebago.
Winnebago's just on fire and
everything is falling apart. Right.
See the Explorer like just driving off the highway into the distance, leaving everybody behind.
So once again, as we go to break, thank you. First of all, thank you so much to everyone that's tuned in so far. Stay with us as we go to break and come back. We do want to thank our patrons who donate more than $10 a month. You get a special shout out for being some of the best lifeblood to keep the show alive. So those at the host with the most tier that we would like to give some special thanks and love to are Jack C, Donald G, Nerdy T, Michelle E, Abigator, Anino, and Andy T. Thank you all so much for being part of this and for helping shows like this stay alive. Also, consider going over to roll20.net/start/WTTP and check it out. You can see a little bit of how I'm doing some of the sound in the background and making character sheets and things like that. Give it a check. Aside from that, we will be right back. So give us like 5 to 10 and we will resume the mystery.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to rueinc.com to check out some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more, head on over to patreon.com/.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. We're right back into this sucker. So hope that you had a nice break, took a little stretch, got some water. Don't forget to hydrate. And we are back with some more Monster of the Week. So when we last left our heroes, they were investigating an unfortunate mining accident and talking to some ghosts about the whole situation. But right now, what we're going to do is transition over to Mac, because Mac is investigating the local CDC has some sort of base of operations out here. And so we cut to sort of the east side of the town. So it's past most of the houses. It's still there's some like old farmland that is sort of like not being used, that Dr. Cardoso has been able to set up on, and it's this big trailer-looking thing. It has the CDC like logo on it. It says Mobile Research Lab sprayed on the side of it. Um, and there's like a janky like little folding deck chair that's been set up in front. There's like a couple of cans of like natty ice sort of like shoved into the snow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, this is not the picture of the CC Doctor I was expecting.
I know, right?
Oh, this is good.
Mac's like suddenly very into this scene.
Yeah.
Like puts out the match you were about to.
Yeah, the hand like comes out from the coat. Like, okay, we don't have to resort to that.
Yeah, so were you trying to go here while nobody was around? Were you trying to like get your crew to like get the doctor out of there?
Yeah, I was probably gonna get the crew or like some local like shithead teenager to try and get the doctor out of there. Like probably have a teenager throw a bottle through the window and run around town. Shit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I think like while you're maybe running, you're coming up there while you were in town. You'd already made the call ahead.
Yeah.
And like you see a really frazzled looking woman. She's kind of like slightly tanned. Hair is like tucked under like a winter hat. She looks exhausted. And she's chasing after a teenager who's like hurriedly stuffing like a hundo in his pocket. She's like, "Get back here! You can't throw stuff at a government building." And he looks back like, "It's a van." She's like, "It's a Winnebago. It's different." And she's like,
They're legally distinct.
breathing heavily, but you've breezed past her, so
Yeah.
that's sort of what we see as you walk by. Like, we get like a flashback to you, like you're a member of your crew paying the kid, and like, "Hey, just go bug her for a bit."
Yeah.
So you get up in there, and inside, this looks like the inside of the trailer from the Lost World, except that instead of dinosaur things, it's full of like disease research. So there's computers, there's like a whiteboard, and a bunch of things stuck on with magnets of documentation, and yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yes,
Gosh,
they do.
awful. They deserve better. They're tough. They do well for themselves. But Niels is incompetent, so it's okay. We're an equal opportunity role-playing game. Also, we are making it canon that everyone tipped extremely well for
Yes.
Ava.
Yes.
We want to make
On
that
the
extremely
agency's
clear.
budget. On
The agency's budget. Tip your
She got
gosh
a very,
darn wait
a very
staff.
neat half of one gold coin, just like under a napkin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$20.
Thank you for the follow, Jason Chase, on top of that. I like to think that that's for tipping. Anyway, so you get in there, right, and it's got like computers, there's like a laptop, there's like a little research station that has like a microscope and things, and just papers strewn everywhere. There's like a stack of takeout containers on a folding table in the back. What do you do?
I would like to trust my gut and see whether it's better to go for the paperwork or the computers, see what's better here.
Seems good.
Yeah.
Roll plus weird.
That's weird. My weird is so good. It's so good.
You're the grounded one.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Is the macro /R or !R? I always forget.
Slash.
Slash. Well,
Okay. Your instincts lead you into danger.
yeah, that's the best. That's the way I want it.
Yay.
There we go. We got a failure.
Vials that are marked as biohazards.
Probably, it's probably her computer.
Yep.
You get the sense that like there's all these screens around here. Like she probably has a notepad, but most of her logs are probably on the computer. So I think it's getting to be late at this point. It's like probably 7 o'clock. So it's dark because it's November, so it's like pitch black outside, and the only light is from like one of the like a pole
Street lamps.
street lamp. Not great out here, but there is one because it's like on an old post road for the farm, and like vaguely off in the distance, there's a house that's already got its Christmas lights up, so you can kind of direct your way back to town. You can sort of see the glow of the town from here, but you're tapping away, and she keeps pretty decent notes. Her computer is pretty easily cracked because she's like, I'm out here alone. A lot of her logs talk about being like, can't believe it's almost Christmas and they send me out here to the middle of nowhere to figure this thing out. Can't really piece it together. What you can get from the surface is that it seems like people are getting sick and they don't seem to be transferring it to and from each other. So there's not really a reason to quarantine the town or do anything like that. But initial testing doesn't seem to be particularly shocking. I think as you're searching, why don't you go ahead and roll plus sharp for investigating a mystery, and you can spend any hold that you get as a result, like throughout the rest of the sketch of this scene.
Holy crap!
Wow.
That's a good roll.
Okay. So you can hold
Alright.
2.
All right.
And you can spend your hold to ask me questions like, what happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can it hurt it? Where did it go? Where was it going to do? And what is being concealed here? Some of those questions you may not be able to ask right away.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say you can hang on to them throughout the rest of the mystery and spend them as necessary.
Yeah, I assume I can't ask what the creature is based on her notes when she doesn't know what the creature
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so as far as you can tell, like whatever this creature is, it's not. It's the disease itself is not what you're dealing with. It's more of a symptom of whatever is out here. So over her notes, she notes that in the first week of the emergence of this condition, people started to feel weaker physically. They were very tired. They sort of started to lose a lot of weight very quickly. Sunken eyes, sallow cheeks, skin starting to pale a little bit, a pretty nasty persistent cough, physical weakness. And as it goes on, it just gets worse and worse. And usually the victim dies in about 4 to 7 days, depending on their physical health. When they die, they've been burying the bodies where necessary, like where possible. There's a few plots left in the town's graveyard. She makes notes that the mass grave was more of a necessity thing. It was like 3 dozen people caught in that blast, and there just wasn't enough identifiable remains to sort of say, well, here we go. And a lot of people were like, well, no, don't burn. You can't just cremate them because I want to know like what happened we'd like to have like as much left
Right.
as possible. It feels more disrespectful to do that, and so they sort of arrived at the agreement to do this mass burial. Um, that doesn't seem to be spreading the disease. Like nobody that's dealt with that is sick. The other kicker here is that there's no connection unifying the victims. Um, Initially, the first person that got sick was a miner named Porter Wilson. Porter got sick. He was in the blast. He survived. Um, he got sick and died within about a week. After that, a couple of other people started getting sick, some of whom worked at the mine but were not in the blast. After that, the victims start getting to the townsfolk, people who had no connection to the mine whatsoever. Like, here's an artist, here's someone that works at the local cinema, here's like the bartender. And that strikes her as especially odd because she's like, I can't find a trace. Like, there's no the disease. I can sort of start to isolate some of the bacteria that are there, but I've never seen anything like it before. It doesn't respond to any of my tests or any of my known vaccines. It mimics symptoms of similar diseases that cause like a physical wasting, but it doesn't have any genetic similarities to it. Um, it's almost like the disease doesn't exist. You know, like the bacteria are mutated here and they're weird, but also I it doesn't like match up to anything. It doesn't play by normal rules. Um, so it's not only that people are starting to get sick who don't have connections to the mine, but also they don't. Um, they're exponentially growing. So like every week, double the amount of people get sick effectively. Um, the most notable deaths recently were Porter Wilson, who was the miner who survived, and then 2 weeks ago, a Hilda Ostberg died. She was a mechanic in town. She
And her notes
runs.
don't like have any notable connection between like specifically Porter and Hilda, do they?
No, it's aside from like Hilda probably worked on his car at some point. Ostberg Twins is like the body shop in the area, so it's likely that everyone has to come to them at some point.
Okay.
She has a brother that she left behind, Carl. Um, yeah.
Okay. Looking through that. Let's see what questions do we got. Does it look like Cardoza? Does it look like she was? I mean, I assume Mac like is under the impression that like there's no possible way that they would come to the conclusion that there's supernatural in any way. But did they seem to have any leads like leading that way, or anything, or does it look like they're kind of just lost?
She, judging by the amount of takeout, the beers, the notes, and like the general state of the place, it's like the fridge is just stocked with like beer and coffee. She's just running on empty. You get the sense that like Dr. Cardoso is just completely at her wit's end. She's like, more people are getting sick. I can't keep them safe. I can't vaccinate them or anything like that. There's no rational explanation for what's happening here.
Okay.
And like, I need to look at more unorthodox vectors of infection. Like, is it airborne? Is this like a case of extreme like psychosomatic disease or something like that? Is it just stress? Like, what is this?
Mhm.
She's completely lost.
Okay.
and no signs to the supernatural.
Looking through her emails, like, what's her sort of relationship with her higher ups in the CDC?
She is pretty good in her field.
Okay.
As an epidemiologist, she knows her stuff. She's been dispatched to a lot of different places across the United States. She's done a little bit of work abroad. She has a pretty good rep. And so from her notes and her emails, you get the sense that, like, we're counting on you, Paloma. We know that you're going to figure this one out. We know that it's a tight time frame and that there's a lot riding on this. But if anyone can figure this out, it's you. And she's got this, like, why me kind of thing. Like, I can't, you like, you almost can imagine, like, I think we get the viewers get a flashback to, like, her sitting over her computer, like, you're the only one that can help us.
Oh my gosh. What
Help
pressure.
me, you're my only hope. And, like, pounding her fist on the keyboard and, like, going back, or like, okay, run the test again. There's got to be something here. Tap, 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 tap.
Super glad I didn't go in hard. No, super glad.
This is soft for you.
I mean,
Just
looking
the
at my
bottle through
equipment.
the window trick.
Look at
That's
my
just
equipment. I've
annoying.
got a 22. I've got a shotgun. I've got a big knife.
Well, speaking of, while you're researching,
Yeah,
there's
danger.
a
I forgot
knock.
about danger.
There's a knock at the door.
Oh,
Just one thunk.
Yep.
What do you do?
I go and open the door like I belong here. Confidence. Yep.
You open the door, and you feel a chill. Something just, like, runs through your body. And for a split second, you thought you saw someone standing there, but they're not there anymore. Maybe it was a trick of the light, but all the hair on the back of your neck just stands up. And your stomach turns all of a sudden. You just, like, feel super queasy.
This isn't somewhere where I can use one of my hold, is it?
Yeah, totally.
And since the hold was from investigate, I can only use it on those questions. Correct.
Yes.
Okay. What happened here?
You're trying to remember stories and files of things like this. There are myths and stories about things that come by to houses of people, and they come looking for things. You get the sense that something knew you were here. Maybe was following you, even if you weren't aware of it. But certainly did not want to make a move against you
Okay.
until it was sure that you were alone.
Nice, good.
And you also know that whatever this thing is, it has marked you.
Yeah, the shotgun's out. Just like from under the cape coat, like it is out. It like Mac is like looking around, like very aware and I don't think paranoid or anything, but just like very attentive and like looking around, like sort of, and like does a round around the Winnebago.
Yeah, you're walking around. You've got the gun out, and as you're walking, you see out of the corner of your eye something move, and you realize, like, something's been standing at the tree line, completely still this whole time, and like you got it just the right angle where, like, this thing thought you saw it, and so it decided to move, and wasn't counting on you looking at it. And now it is standing perfectly still. But you can see it. It is a humanoid figure, pretty tall, like 5'11", muscular, athletic, female-bodied, and it is looking dead at you. You can see its milky white eyes glinting in the light of the snow.
No.
Don't
No.
like that.
No.
Yeah, shoot first. Shoot first, ask questions later.
Shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like this.
So you just blast.
Yeah.
There's no roll with this because you're not getting into a fight directly. You just
Yeah.
shoot into the night. Your shotgun blast lights it up. This thing catches the buckshot in the chest, and it's like a decent distance. So like this is not the most effective your shotgun has ever been,
Mhm.
but it still hits. This thing catches the shot and goes flying back and gets up. It looks at you. It takes a step forward and then turns and books it into the woods.
Start following, not like running, but doing like the, I guess like a somewhere between a jog and a walk, and like take out the phone and like start calling the others. Like
Oh, good.
at the van, I've got something. Maybe they've heard like the shotgun blast in the quiet of this Minnesota night. I don't know, but yeah, like letting the others know like there's some shit here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the rest of you all get calls. So this has been some hours. Like you've had your conversations. Were you going to check out the mine at all?
Yes, I think that's what we would have done after talking to Niels, was like try and get a chance to go into the mine.
Okay, so let's do a quick scene of that, and then we'll flash forward in time. So
Yeah.
this happened like 2 hours ago. You walk through the mine. It's got a few service lamps and things. You've got like maybe they gave you headlamps and helmets. There's still a few service lights kicking around. Did you get Ashan and Varash to come with you as well?
I was kind of
that-
thinking like I'd probably have messaged them. Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, I
but
think that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're all moving through there, and this place is like a maze. It's long snaking tunnels. You're trying to sort of mark your way out, and one of the workers gave you kind of like vague directions to get to the blast. Oh, also, Adya knows that Niels was lying.
Okay, I was gonna
About a few
ask
things.
if that was the case. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. He was telling the truth that, like, there was a thing down there, but not necessarily, like, the full details.
Okay. And I just
No.
know he was lying, but I don't necessarily know, like, what he was lying about. Just about the details in general.
Yeah, he was definitely leaving a few things out, or once or twice. I don't remember exactly what you asked, but he was definitely lying about at least one of those things.
Oh, awesome.
You're looking around, and you get split up. So I think it's Adya and Ashan end up like on one tunnel, and Varash and Ben end up at another tunnel. So Adya and Varash and Ben find your way to the cave-in itself. So there's like collapsed rock and everything around it. There's some glint, like there's some metallic shards on the ground from like the explosion. Adya and Ashan, you're kind of like completely turned around. You got separated from them at some point. Like maybe you were looking at your notes or something. Like, hey, come look at this thing. And you look up and they're gone. Like, which way did they go, left or right?
Yeah.
As
doing
you're
like this.
walking,
And I'm like, definitely right. And I was just so
it was super wrong, right?
Yeah.
As you're walking, you hear footsteps, and it sounds like they're behind you. And you turn around, and then the footsteps are behind you again. And so they're just like echoing down the tunnel. You can't tell where they are.
That's good.
Varash and Ben, what are you doing at the cave-in itself?
I want to find the weird metal and lick it.
Yeah, I figure we're kind of looking at the shards, maybe trying to piece together like what happened after the blast, because it seems like that went wrong, and I don't know if Adya said that like Niels was lying about something.
I think I
But-
would have shared that.
Yeah,
or I
so
would
I'm
like radio it in.
gonna be getting out the agent's field kit and kind of going over things.
Nice. And I'm wondering if it would make sense to use my no limits is when you push your physical body past its limits. It might sort of work for that to use my weird to try and sense what's going on with this weird metal, but I'm not sure how you want to roll that.
I think that might be a little more
Yeah,
like physical capability.
right.
I think
Look, if I'm
maybe
trying
you're
to lift
investigating a
dumpster
mystery
or something.
Yeah, that feels like what we're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, so one of you take the point on that, and the other one should help out.
Okay.
I'll take point.
I
on
will help
that.
out because I am bad at
Excellent.
that
Let's
in
do
this
it.
mystery investigating game.
Hmm.
Ben's like doing some real note taking, and Varash is just
fun.
licking metal.
Helping is a roll plus cool, which is my -1.
Yeah.
Yay.
So look forward to that.
Let's find out. I'm getting out like a little flashlight, maybe a little brush to kind of brush away some of the things. Tiny little hammer and ooh.
Well, I got a
Oh.
1 plus 1 minus 1 is 1.
All right, let's.
That's
so
math, baby.
Yep.
See how I do. Okay, I get an 11.
Oh, sick.
Okay.
Yeah, Varash, you're old. You're like 100, aren't you? Like
Yeah.
100 and change, but you've been like in stasis.
Right. I was sneeping.
Yeah, I think you lick this. This raises some interesting questions about the world's cosmology that I haven't figured out, but we're going to figure
fun.
out together. I think you take a harm.
Ooh.
This mineral is painful to you. It doesn't feel right. In fact, it tastes like pure chaos. It feels familiar to you, but the fog of sleep is so heavy on your mind, on some of the more esoteric parts of the universe. You can't quite recall, but like this, you remember this stuff. You've tasted it before,
Cool.
and you don't like it. In fact, you
Yeah.
feel like you were meant to hunt it.
That's awesome.
Ooh.
Maybe
Cool.
the reason that I take harm is because after I lick it, I'm like, and then I just like chomp it,
Oh yeah.
just
Rough.
like grind it between my teeth.
And what happened with Ben? You got an 11.
I had an
Dang.
11.
All right, so you've got 2 hold to spend on questions.
All right.
And you can keep that in addition, like into this next scene
Yeah.
with Mac.
I think that one here seems like it makes sense. What is being concealed here?
Yeah, you get a sense that Niels didn't want you guys to come back here.
Mhm.
This is not iron. It's clearly not iron.
Yeah.
Niels, you get between Adja's notes and your conversation, you get the sense like Niels sees you guys as miners as like, hey, you know that I found something valuable down here. I wanted it, so I'm gonna get it out no matter what it costs me.
Mm-hmm.
My guy says we can't blast, it's too dangerous. I say screw that, I'm gonna get a payday. So
Okay.
the blast goes off, people die. He closes the mine down while they can clean it up. CDC shows up because weird things start happening. He starts getting pissed and says, I don't want people around here.
Mhm.
You're asking questions, what's going on? He's definitely getting paranoid. So you get the sense like he didn't want you down here in the first place. Number one. Number two, what else you notice is like there have been like footprints down here,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
which should not be down here.
Right.
Like there's a very distinct heavy set of boot prints, and the mine has been closed. Nobody's been in here. Someone's been moving around down here.
Look at this, Viraj.
Ow. I mean, what? I'm fine. How are you? Ah,
It seems we're not alone down here.
And as you say that,
Hmm.
Adia and Ashan are like there's a shot of like the camera spinning around you as you hear these sounds of like crunching footsteps, and
Mhm.
finally the camera stops and we look into the darkness, and out of the darkness is uh, a bigger man in it looks like he's wearing like a funeral suit,
Uh-huh.
like just a black suit, a black tie, white shirt. It's covered in dirt.
Oh.
He is emaciated. His skin is completely pale, and he stares at you with milky white eyes and sharp teeth and viciously sharp claws.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna like Ashan's gonna like take a step back and just be like, hello? And like just kind of look at Adia.
Yeah, I think Adia is like, maybe she's got her like hand out kind of in front of you, like,
Yeah.
and then is like trying to push you back some more while she steps back too.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Are you Nick?
It takes a step forward. It doesn't seem to respond to that name.
Okay.
Uh,
Alright.
I don't like this. Should we
Interesting.
run?
The direction that this person is that, are they standing where we came from, or like towards the rest of the?
Hard to tell.
Hard
Okay.
to tell. All right.
Cool.
Whew.
I think Adia's gonna try her whatever they have for like communicating, like her phone or something, to see if she can try to get Ben or Varash or
Yeah,
anybody.
you get your teammates on the phone. So you establish a line, but it's really choppy because you're in this cave.
Cool.
And while you're having this conversation, the creature is just taking slow, deliberate steps towards you.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna.
This is fine.
I think like I'm gonna reach out into whatever weird energy that I kind of know of, and I want to roll for Jinx so I can encourage coincidences to
Sweet.
occur. So I'm gonna roll plus weird.
This is Ben.
This is
You just hear like a bunch of static coming from Adia. Man, walking, eyes white.
all right. So
You got 2 hold.
I get 2 hold. I'm gonna try and be like, I think we should probably start running right about now. And then
Seems good.
and I want to. Can I spend both of my hold like right?
Yeah.
After
Oh yeah.
another? I want to interfere with what the monster minion or bystander is trying to do,
Mhm.
and then also the target loses something that you will find soon.
Okay.
Because I think I'm gonna like pull out my shotgun and just fire it off, like not even really aiming, just kind of like fire it
Just
off.
bang, right.
Yeah.
So it looks at the blast and like recoils.
Yeah.
And you can use that to like spring off and you run.
Mm-hmm.
So what we get is this very intense chase scene as you are all like thundering through the cave, and the 2 of you are on the phone like back and forth, like, which way are you? What's going on? And occasionally cutting back to this creature like chasing after you.
Oh boy.
You
Mhm.
lose it somewhere in the cave system.
Yeah.
So
Oh
you
my
all
gosh.
get out of the cave like out of breath.
Like a bunch of seemingly lucky occurrences. Just
Right.
like a beam
Nice.
falls right behind us as we
Yeah.
need it to, and stuff like that.
And you catch each other up, and as you're like breathing and getting your wits back together, you get a call from Mac.
Oh, you get the call. You don't get a bunch of voicemails coming up as you get reception.
Yeah, exactly. It's like boom, 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 boom,
And then the call. We're like,
and then
oh,
a
this-
call.
Yeah.
What do you all do?
This is Ben. Are you also being chased by a monster?
I am chasing the monster.
Oh. What's your location?
By in the woods by Cardoza's van.
It's a Winnebago.
You just hear in the background.
We're en route to the Winnebago.
I believe I
keep
had
us
one more hold.
advised.
Yep, will do. I believe I had one more hold on investigation.
Yes.
Can I ask what sort of creature is it?
Okay. So you're chasing after it. You like occasionally like stop in the snow, and the snow just like falls in slow-mo as you like line up the shot. Bang. You catch it in the shoulder again. It goes down and gets back up. Somewhere down the line, it like just decides to turn and like square off against you, backed up against a wall, like a rock formation. You're getting a good look at it for the first time now. So this creature looks like the thing that everyone else has seen, but you haven't. So it's a woman. She's wearing, again, like funerary attire, as in like when I mean by like a funeral suit, like what you would be buried in.
Yeah.
She's wearing like a nice, like power suit, effectively.
Sweet.
And she clearly has like tattoos all up and down both of her arms. She's got short cropped hair, and she is pale skinned, like white skinned, milky white eyes, sunken features, long claws, vicious long fangs, and she just hisses at you. If you didn't know any better, you'd say this is like a vampire, but not. You know, like this sure looks like a lot of vampires you've seen, but it doesn't seem to match up with the vibe that you got from Ashan back in the break room.
Yeah.
And I think there's like a few moments where like it gets a little closer to you. You mark a harm,
Okay.
as it like takes a breath in, and you feel your energy sapping out of you, almost like your breath is being taken away.
That's real bad.
And
Like it's a mentor.
it reminds you, there are stories of vampires that are like this, that don't eat, they don't drink blood, they don't eat flesh, they just sap your force. It is clearly some kind of vampire, but a variant. You don't quite have enough to put a name to it.
Okay.
But it's probably a safe bet that you could probably kill it with fire.
Let's look at my equipment. No flamethrowers.
Okay, so the rest of you are, I presume, like running down towards this area, right?
Or
Yeah.
like we hopped in the truck.
Yeah.
and
Do you want to
our-
spend your man with the plan hold?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you like pile into the Suburban, and I think you peel out and like disgorge. The doctor is like walking her way back up to the Winnebago, and you like peel out and like park just before like almost hitting her, and she's like, whoa, I'm walking. Almost killed me. And you like jump out, maybe with your weapons at your side. She's like, whoa.
Is that a sword?
Is that is that a dragon? No, it's just a person. And you run off into the woods. And so you arrive just in time to see this thing. There is another one of these pale creatures that is got Mac pinned up against the back of a tree.
Mhm.
Oh god.
And it is like right up in Mac's face. What do you all do?
Oh boy.
Start playing Monster Hearts.
Okay, roll to turn her on.
I want to charm.
Ashan's definitely like kind of like, okay, we can't talk to these things.
Yeah, now you're thinking that.
Now I'm like, okay,
There.
Yeah. I can't think of what to do. What have
I can.
While that's
start
happening,
us
then
off.
Yeah.
you take an action, and as you're figuring things out, from the woods, another figure comes. This one is the thing that Ashan saw at the top. It's another humanoid. It's what's a human, pale skin, soot, and like looks like scorch marks all over his
Oh.
body.
Uh-huh.
He is wearing a mining outfit. He's got a safety vest that's all like shredded to hell. He's got like work pants and work boots, like heavy gloves that are all scorched up, and he's got claws coming out of the gloves. And he slowly and deliberately like walks towards you all.
I'd like to spend one of my hold.
hmm
What can hurt it? Especially since we were checking out like that strange metal and have had the time from getting to the mine over here to kind of mull that over.
Sweet. Yeah, it doesn't seem, as you're looking at everything that's happening and your mind is like racing super fast, you don't
Mhm.
get the sense that this thing actually has a direct connection to the ore. It doesn't look like it's made from or powered by it in any way. But you also grok that this is like some kind of vampire.
Oh, okay.
This particular vampire, like, it's probably safe to say most of them are killed by fire. And this one, probably removing the head would make sense. Like, it's usually your go-tos are like fire, cut the head off. If that doesn't work, stake through the heart. If that doesn't work, sunlight, maybe something else. Maybe there's some like weird behavioral quirk that it has, depending on what sort of tradition it comes from.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Or
So,
beans rice at it.
remove the head, eh?
Mhm.
I think Ben says, "Swords out." This is a
Nice.
swords out situation, and you know, from exactly draws one of the company swords. It's a silver short sword.
Your company
And,
sword with the logo.
I forgot that. Oh, I forgot that you also have a
Oh my
sword.
Yeah. We've all got swords.
We've all got
I
swords.
don't.
No, I have a
And-
baseball
knife.
bat.
Oh yeah.
I'll charge the mining vampire.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm running
Oh,
towards
the one that's not choking me out. Sure.
I'm running towards the one that has Mac. Like,
Okay.
and I think as I'm running, I like leap into the air and like flap my wings, and then I do not fly because the chains that are tattooed on the wings like suddenly glow, and I like
yeah.
grimace in pain and just like land back on the ground and keep running, and I'm like, oh
Oh.
come on!
I really wanted that to work.
So fucking metal.
But I'm running up and taking a big swing at it.
All right,
with my
so
heavy
Varash,
sword.
Yeah.
roll plus tough because you're protecting Mac, and Ben, roll plus tough to kick some ass.
All right. That's an 8.
Okay. So you and whatever you're fighting trade harm, and that is based on its attacks. So how much harm does your sword do?
2 harm, and it is also messy and silver.
Ooh. And you're going for the head, right?
Yes.
I think you get it in the neck, pretty bad. So it's like here. There's like this long gash, and it's not quite out, but you looks like you're definitely doing the right thing, because it recoils. As you toss it with it, so you get
Yeah.
the chop, and it grabs it's just sinks its claws into you. So take 1 harm.
All
As
right.
its claws just like jam into your suit, it flips you over, and it pins you with its claws in you, and it sits on you in the exact same way that Ashan saw in his vision earlier.
Oh no.
Just
on your
like in your
chest.
dream.
Right.
Just like
And
in my
as-
dream.
As it's sitting there with its claws just like pinning you into the snow, you feel like your breath is just like draining out of your body. It is slowly suffocating you. So
Yikes.
you are gonna take. I had you take 1 harm from the claws.
Mm-hmm.
Take 3 additional harm as you
God.
feel your
Oh,
life
wow.
essence being drained away. And Virash, you got
I got a 6,
okay.
which means that I end up making things worse. I might want to use that luck mechanic that we
Yep.
have available.
To turn that into a 12.
Let's turn
Wow.
that one into a 12 instead. I don't want this to be even worse than
And when you spend luck, your monster side gains power. Your curse may grow
Yes.
stronger, or another breed disadvantage may manifest.
Wow.
So yours is like pride, right?
Yes.
So yeah, you spend that point of luck. I think you like get you knock Mac out of the way and take that hit. But in that moment, your pride flares and you're like, no, I will be the one to destroy this creature.
Yeah,
Not
for
Mac.
sure.
No one else. I will take the pain. I will endure as I have for the past 100 years.
Yeah. I
Will
get
stop me.
I get that really anime moment as I shove the monster off with like the flat of the blade and I say, "Your opponent is me."
And it just like it starts wrestling with you and like
Yeah.
take a harm
Sounds
as
good.
it just slashes you across the face with it. So the three of the rest of you, as we come to the 0 hour on this whole situation, Mac, Adya, and Ashan, what are you doing?
I think Adia is going for the one that is on top of Ben. So she's pulled out her company issue baseball bat
Okay.
that's got some local
The
like
Louisville Slugger
yeah.
crossover.
It's like got some like minor league like name on it, and she's just like swinging it, and she's like, take the head off, and she's gonna just try to whack that head off right off the one that's on Ben.
Okay, go ahead and kick some ass.
Yeah.
So roll plus tough.
Wrong window.
Oh, for my 10 plus for protect
Oh.
someone, is it okay if I pick the you suffer little harm actually?
Oh yeah. So you don't take that one harm.
Sweet.
I don't still have that +1 from the forward earlier, right?
Yeah, I think you do.
Oh, I do. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect, because that's.
If you didn't, I would say like based on what's sort of how to fight this monster, I'd give you the +1 anyway.
Okay. That's great because my tough was -1. It cancels out. Oh, okay. Well,
Well then, so you're going for the one that's on Ben.
yes.
I think here's what happens. You can smack it across the head. How much harm does your baseball bat do?
It does 2 harm.
2 harm. So you crack the bat into this guy, and his neck sort of goes, and he snaps it back in place.
Oh, okay.
Climbs off of Ben, and tackles Adya.
Cool.
And since you're in this forest, like there's plenty of like the rock formation that you were fighting against. He shoves Adya against that, and he doesn't pin you this time. He just has you shoved, and as he's grabbing you, you feel your essence being pulled. Take 3 harm as you feel like just this
Oh,
enervating
no.
exhaustion pulling out of your body. Ashan and Mac, what's happening with you?
I'm real glad that I got off easy and didn't take 3 harm. Just 1. I've got a grudge against this lady vampire. I know that
You're
Viraj has.
interrupting my sick anime duel.
I know, but she was mine first. That dance with the girl that brung you. I mean, so I don't got no big knife or any big like melee weapons. I got like a tiny little like switchblade for a knife. So I'm just gonna stick with my shotgun. It's like I imagine the shotgun's like an 1887 from Call of Duty Modern Warfare. But just overpowered as shit. And I just go up as Varash is like grappling with this other vampire. I try and put the shotgun up to like the base of its neck and try and get a shot off. Because it's got the messy quality, so hopefully that'll help.
Yeah, and I think because Varash is like sort of engaging, like
Mhm.
there's been this moment of like Varash swing, and like driving it back. She is like throwing her claws up and like parrying the blades,
Dag.
like hissing.
Oh,
And finally you get like one good swing of like bam with the back of the pommel, and it kind of goes to one knee, and she's like and I think you're like Varash is about to bring the
Wind it
sword
up,
over,
yeah.
like now we go, and Mac comes up from behind and just shunk. We get a shot looking up at Mac holding the shotgun down to the camera, and it's a bang, and a thump, and the snow is red below you, leaving
Nice.
Varash without any satisfaction.
Yeah, can I? I think that might be a good time for me to roll my Primal Drive Pride, actually,
Yeah, hit it.
to resist being a bad sport about that. As
I imagine like
So-
Varash is all dramatic about it and like everything, and then Mac was just very like to the point. Like, no, you're taking big swings, you're making all these exclamations. I'm just like, point, shoot.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Okay,
Like,
so I
it's just salt
actually
in the wound.
amazingly did not fail that roll with my -1 cool. I got a 7. Let me double check what actually happens when I do that. Whenever you have a chance to indulge that emotion, you must do so immediately or act under pressure to resist. Okay, so act under pressure says. Beep, boop, bop. Where is it? There it is. The keeper is going to give you a worse outcome, hard choice, or price to pay.
I think the so you have the chance to indulge your pride, right?
Right.
And you indulging your pride is like what in your mind?
Is like, being superior and haughty and like, putting myself above others. Retaliating in some way.
Yeah, I think you could do that. Like in your mind, your rational mind is like, yeah, I can like push around Mac and be like, that was my kill, or. If you do that, your friend, both of your friends are probably going to die. They're being pinned by these creatures. Like Ben is bleeding out on the ground somewhere, like not even bleeding out, just like trying to get his breath back. Adya is like actively, you look over at the corner of your eye and you kind of have a magical sense. You can see like Adya's life breath being pulled into the body
Right.
of this other vampire. So you're like, what is more important here, sending a message or working with the team?
Right.
And it's your call.
right. Yeah, that's great.
Message.
The two like versions of Varash on their shoulder.
Yeah, for sure. One of them is just like, you need to bend that shotgun right in half. And you can see her like imagining it in her mind, and then she's like, and I just like point at you, and then turn and dash over to help the other two.
Okay.
I'm sure it is still a very intimidating point.
Yes.
Yeah.
The claw extends.
So yeah, you rush it. What is Ashan doing in all of this?
Ashan's kind of like staying in the back. Has their broken sword out and is like, I'm gonna, and like kind of just says out loud, like watching all this happen, like, are you? I think you're Nick. Oh, Nick, don't do that. Like it's kind of like
As you're yelling, right? He's like stops for a second, like he's like lost in his reverie of draining Adya's life,
Rude.
and he lets go, and you say Nick, and he turns, and he looks you dead in the eye, Ashan, and he like starts walking towards you. What do you do?
menacingly, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
He's got his
Not
hands
like,
out to
oh,
shake.
No, like-
hey,
Oh, what's good? Like, did
Nick? Yeah, you're right.
you catch the Clippers game last night? Damn.
Anybody who knows my name is my friend.
That's how it works, right?
I think like as you know, Nick's walking towards me, Ashan like kind of readies up a swing and then is like, no, and then I'm gonna try and blast fire at it with my cast a spell.
Heck
Yeah,
cast
do
a
it.
spell.
Let's use magic.
Use some magic, baby.
Because let me see, where's my weird?
It's magical. Exactly.
Just imagine like doves and sparkles hitting my fingers.
Man, I'm
Yes.
okay.
Oh, we in this.
All right.
Yeah.
Magic works without issues. Yeah, so you can inflict harm. You can banish a spirit or a curse from a person.
Oh, there's
that
like a
may
lot.
that may or may not work.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, it's gone now, right? I did it. I
You
think
just want to hit it with some flame.
I think I want to hit it with some flame. But yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to hit it with some flame. I guess that would inflict harm, right?
Yeah. Or
Oh
Uh,
no, I want to trap it.
person-
Yes.
yeah, that same hat.
Yeah.
Like
I like.
so-
I was like, oh, I want to use magic, but then I didn't realize there was so much magic.
yeah, so you know some like magical abilities, and you're some kind of sorcerer that you don't really understand.
Something. Yeah.
What is that cool? Like, do you do like finger tutting, Doctor Strange stuff? Do you like say some things in like old like Sumerian or whatever?
I think I don't think Ashan really knows necessarily, and kind of uses like this weird sword as like a wand,
Mm.
and like
Yeah.
points it at them, and then does like, or like quickly like draws a line in the snow,
Oh,
Fuck yes.
kind of like almost like it's a paintbrush,
yeah.
or like a calligraphy pen.
So I think you
so
do
cool.
that. You like swing the brush sword,
Mhm.
and it conjures like a ring of flame
Ooh.
around him, and he like looks completely terrified, like looking around, and like he's like slapping at his clothes because he's on fire,
Mhm.
and that's as Varash comes running up from behind with the big fuck off sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just go for the head, right?
Yep. I think I just take the big home run swing.
So there's the shot from the front, Nick slowly stomping through the snow.
Mhm.
Shot of Ashan like looking like, are you Nick? Hey, cool. Huh. Camera slowly panning away,
Yeah.
and then like camera goes wide for a second as you swing the sword. The ring of flame goes up around him. Aerial shot of above as like he's like panning it down. Everyone like getting to their feet, and like running around, like trying to get things together. And then shot of from the corner, Varash, this draconic monstrosity with a huge sword charging with the sword, and then slow-mo like swing. The sword goes through the camera. The camera like goes like black bars, like letterboxed for a second,
Yeah.
and then thump, and we see Nick's silhouette in the flame collapse,
Oh.
and there is nothing but stillness in the winter snow.
Fuck yes.
I'm gonna go hug Ashan.
It's a tender moment.
Oh. Yeah.
I
I
give
like.
you like the big like lift up bear hug.
Yeah.
Aw, so cute.
I think Ashan like accepts it and like is very happy about it, but then kind of like you see like they look over your shoulder and see like the body of Nick, and there's just like a small linger of like what was really happy appreciation kind of like melts away for a second.
Yeah, that's good. Mm.
So we're gonna do like a little montage at the end of this episode, because I think we've solved the problem. The last thing I think
Yay.
we see is like a light coming through the woods, and Dr. Cardoso comes running and like, hey, who's out there? What's going on? We had a little after action scene of like you sitting down with her back at the van, and like maybe you tell her, maybe you don't, maybe you just convince her that it was all just a bad dream.
Ooh.
Who knows? In the few days after, everyone in town that had been sick, as you were sort of looking around, you saw a lot of people had like coughs or like were looking really sallow faced. It's disappeared. Niels looks tired, but less so. You know that like as he was letting you go, like he coughed and there was a little blood in his cough. He was trying to hide from you. The mine stays closed. Somewhere down the line while you're talking, after you've identified Nick's body, you're approached by Nick's brother, Christos. He didn't work at the mine, but he sort of gets the sense that you guys know what's going on. And we have a scene of him talking to you. He says, Nick was just like he was the cool guy, right? He had a lot of friends. That wasn't me. My grandpa, when we were growing up, there's a lot of folks that came here from overseas, Athens, Santorini after World War II, looking for a better life. Slavs, Germans, Poles. My grandpa was from Greece. He used to tell us these stories. When I was a kid, they used to terrify me. Nick used to laugh. There was a creature. They called it the Vrykolakas. It's kind of like a vampire. If you answer the door after it knocks once, it takes you. It gives you a sickness, and it eats away at you until you die. And then when you die, you become another one of them. They go after family members, friends. I don't know. When Porter died, I thought it was just a bad accident. Maybe he got something in his lungs, but I don't know. And then Hilda, she and Nick were thick as thieves. I don't know if there's such a thing as monsters. But ever since I heard those stories, I always had nightmares growing up. I just never thought they'd be real. They say they don't appear unless you've lived a life of sin, or if you're not buried properly. Maybe Niels should have done something. I know this all sounds crazy. You probably don't believe me. I don't know if there's anything as a monster, but maybe. And that is the last thing that we see. You sitting in his living room as we end to the end of the episode.
Woo!
Thank you all for playing. Thank you for joining us on the inaugural episode of Unnatural Disasters. Sometimes they'll be a little more pulpy and sometimes they'll be a little more sad, but they'll always be fun. Before we say goodbye to everyone, I want to say thank you to everybody that joined us tonight, in the audience, if you were just tuning in, if you were chatting in chat, if you subscribed, if you hosted us or gave us a follow. thank you so much for your support. It really means the world to us. Don't forget about Discord and Patreon. Buy yourself a t-shirt, maybe. That helps keep the lights on. There's nothing left for tonight for us, so we are going to be rating Scraticus Academy afterwards.
Heck yeah.
So stick around and go tune in to whatever fun stuff they are playing. Um, we're going to go around and say who we've been, and real quickly where people can find you on the internet, and if you've got anything coming up that you'd like to tell us about. We'll start with Rue.
So I am Rue. You can find me on the Twitterverse at Cherry Drop. And besides that, I'm in this show. Sometimes I'm popping up in Victoria's Vibrant. What is it? Sorry.
Vibrant, Visible, Victorious?
That's it.
There you
yeah. Either as a producer or as a player.
Fabulous. I'm going to go by Zoom because I don't have the Twitch open right now. So, JR, what's going on?
I'm JR. You can find me at Twitter right there. You can also find the stuff I write at thebelloflostsouls.com. You can also find, like I said, check out the Role Player's Guide to Heist coming out later this year. That's me.
Fantastic. I'm going to go around. Viditya.
I'm Viditya. You can find me on Twitter at VidityaValetti. And again, you can find my games at vidityavaletti.itch.io. I'll be here on this, and that's kind of it. Around.
Right on. Alex.
Hi there. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. You can find me on Twitter at Zendaris and get my games, including my Dragon Romance game, Dragon Hearts, at zendaris.itch.io. Some of the people in the chat were very thirsty for Monster Romance, and
Just chat.
I admit,
Just chat. Not
yeah. I feel you, chat. I understand. So if you want a game that's all that, you can check it out right there. And it is a lot of fun. You can do other things with it too, but it was built with certain things in mind.
It's not a thirst, it is a need.
Perfect.
Last but not least, Kevin.
Hi, I'm Kevin, or Knitnack. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, all the other places at knit_knack. I am a game designer, player, GM, and I recently was able to contribute to the Unbreakable Anthology Volume 1, Asian
Nice.
Adventures by Asian writers, illustrated by Asian artists, and it's a big team of all Asian people doing it for the culture, and we are very proud of the work we did. It's available on DriveThruRPG. It's technically a bestseller. I'm somehow technically a best-selling author, which is such a dumb thing to say. I never thought I would say it in my life, but now I'm making everybody say it because why not?
You gotta say it.
You gotta.
exactly.
You gotta rep yourself when you do
Yeah.
the work.
You do.
And I am Simon. I have been the keeper for this game. I'm looking forward to many more mysteries with everybody. You can find me on Twitter at Lucha Libris. Same name, same address for my itch page for my game designs. I've got a free game based on Cats, the musical, that you can play right dang now.
Nice.
I've also got a work in progress game about Goblin Revolutionaries inspired by Styx, Master of Shadows, that you can also find out there. I am a LARPwright. I am a game designer. I am a streamer. I'm here every week on Wednesdays, obviously. Tomorrow I'll be on Scraticus at 2:30 Eastern, playing Blades in the Dark. I am a cast member on an upcoming game on Sundays at 8 Eastern, Arrowven, which is a Numenera game inspired by Skyward Sword, which is going to be off the chain.
Oh, that sounds good.
That does sound really good.
It's going to be really fun. And you can also play a game with me privately if you want for $, because I'm a GM for the Magpie Games Curated Play program. If you go to magpiegames.com/curated-play, you too can play a fabulous game of Masks, Bluebeard's Bride, Zombie World, or any other fine Magpie games with some wonderful GMs, including myself. So find all about that and more on the internet. That has been us. I am so excited to see what the next session is going to be like. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. I was not expecting to get all this excitement and love, but I'm blown away by the reception, and I hope that more of you will join us next week. With that being said, we are going to throw a raid to Scraticus, so get ready to throw them some love. And until next time, we will see you.